In the old days, love was pure and true. Now it's just a show for all to view. People use it for their own gain, leaving hearts in sorrow and pain. Once a sacred bond, now just a game. Hearts are broken, never quite the same. Love used to be a beacon bright, now it's lost in the shadows of the night. Oh, how we long for those days of yore, when love was honest forevermore. But now it's twisted, tainted and cruel, leaving us drowning in an endless pool. What can we do? In the spiritual world, all seems bright, but shadows lurk in the dead of night. Half of humanity wears a wicked guise, evil deeds hidden behind virtuous eyes. Beneath the surface, a darkness lies, masks of deceit veiling their lies. In this realm where good and evil collide, the line between them is blurred, hard to decide. So tread carefully in this world so grand, for not all that glitters is gold in the sand. In the spiritual realm where illusions endure, evil and good dance in eternal obscure. Just imagine that. Karma doesn't ask you how you want it, it just comes and take it. So be careful how you treat others on your way up the ladder, cause your way down, trust me. In a world of empty stares, fake love fills the air. Sincerity's distant glare, leaving hearts in deep despair. Truth is lost in a web of lies, hiding behind deceitful eyes. Love that fades and slowly dies, leaving us with heavy sighs. Aching souls in a loveless land, yearning for a genuine hand, but fake love rules with cruel demand, leaving us to understand. In this age of like and retweets, we've forgotten what real love truly means. It's not just about show and tell, but a feeling that makes our hearts swell. It's hard to know who's true and who's fake in a world where appearances are hard to shake. But real love is deeper than a profile pic. It's in the way that someone makes your soul click. So let's not get lost in the digital haze. Let's remember what real love truly conveys. It's not about followers or online fame, but a connection that sets our hearts aflame. In this world of make-believe, they all wear a smile, but behind the scenes, it's just a clever guys, puppets in their show, dancing in their stage. We're all just pieces of their charade. Beneath their mask of joy lies the tangled web, where secrets and deceits are carefully bred. Their lovey-dovey act is just for display. We're all caught up in their twisted play. So let's break free from this illusion so grand, and see through the facade with hearts unplanned. No longer pawns in their game of charade. Let's find our own path and not be swayed. I feel like I'm surrounded with people with strings attached to their back, waiting for their master's command. It's like when I was little, right, and I was reading Pinocchio. Every time that he told a lie, his nose grew. It's just that, in real life, their noses don't grow. Karma just catches. In the shadows we seek, a love so pure and meek, but all that's left is a ghostly echo, a memory bleak, longing for a bond that's true in this world so cold and weak, yearning for the love we knew before the all turned antique, lost in illusions of affection, fleeting like the mist, hollow hearts yearn for connection, any realm dismissed, seeking solace in echoes of the past where love truly exists, but all we find are mere reflections of what loved ones kissed. Amidst the ruins of our hearts, we search for something real, yet all we grasp are faded echoes of what used to appeal in this world where love has become just a commodity to steal. It's just a little food for thought. In the face of darkness, I stand. Hey, what up, everybody? I hope all of y'all is having a blessed and humble evening. Continue to have a blessed and humble night. This y'all shorty Racheal. I want to welcome all of y'all to the Writers for Life Let's Talk About It podcast. I think my mic is getting messed up. I might have to get a new mic. Hold on one second. I just want to see how it sounds. Alright, we good with the mic? Alright, y'all. So let's get this John started, right? Let me ask y'all a question, right? What makes a good father or a good mother, right? And the reason I'm asking this, right, we got an update, right, on Pontiac mother, right, who abandoned her kids. We got that. We got the angry man, right, gives his perspective on the situation, with Dr. Umar Johnson. And what's crazy is, right, I love the way that the angry man broke it down, because it's the first time I've heard a man sit here online, right, and break down what a shorty's been talking about for the past couple of years, right, when it comes to, what she's seeing in the hood, when it comes to, these relationships, our parents, the reason why, these kids end up, growing up being disrespectful, much more, right? We're about to dive down into that. But it's crazy how the angry man breaks down, right? The situation is going on with Dr. Umar, right? Johnson. And he shows us, he breaks it down and explains it to us, right? How, there's females, that are certain ways in the hood and much more, right? When it comes to parenting, like, we got good mothers, we got bad mothers, we got good fathers, we got bad fathers, right? We want to get into that. We're also going to get into, we got an update on the Detroit mother, right? The Detroit mother who kids froze to death. We have an update on that. And that is by Carlos King. I appreciate these two men with these updates, man, for the simple fact that a shorty didn't have time to sit here and gather the information, right? So we're gonna start off with the Pontiac mother. And as we reviewing and reacting, right, I would love to hear y'all perspectives, y'all opinions, right? They're welcomed here. I would like for everybody to keep it respectful. If you cannot keep it respectful in the chat, you will get banned. So let's get this started, right? Listen, before I do get started, right? And it's crazy. This all leads back to that one part in the title, right? What makes a good father? And that question is vice versa. What makes a good mother? What? Let me ask y'all a question, right? Are men being called deadbeats, right? Because that's how, society, has us calling them, right? Because what is a deadbeat? What, is a father a deadbeat because, he's not in a child's life, right? Completely. But what if this father is paying child support and the mother is the one that doesn't want this child, this father in the child's life? What if there is issues going on with the parents and the kids have nothing to do with that, right? And my thing is, like I always said, right, no matter what the situation is, the kids should never get involved, right? But somehow, some way in relationships, right, parents, right, somehow, some way, whether they're together or apart, end up involving the child when they shouldn't, right? Before we get to the Dr. Umar Johnson, right, the angry man's perspective and opinions, we're gonna get to the Pontiac mother, right? And we're gonna start off with this live with that, right? I feel as though, right, they should hit this woman, right? I don't know if a lot of y'all know who the Pontiac mother is, right? They abandoned her two kids for years, right? Because she wanted to sit here and fuck Tom, Dick, and Harry. But I feel as though that her bond should not have been lowered the way it is, but it is. So give me 1 second because I don't know why. Here we go. Here we go. I apologize for that. I was trying to get the right video. Here we go. So this lady right here, this is a different judge, right? From the first time that we've seen the video. For those of y'all that have been following the shorty, I appreciate the y'all. Like if y'all don't know what a shorty's perspective is on this case, I suggest y'all catch up. Y'all catch the replay on the first live I did on the Pontiac mom. Like to me, listen, this is not a woman. This to me is nothing more than Lilith in disguise. Like man, calling her a bitch, it's too sweet. It's too good. She don't deserve to even be called a bitch. This bitch is a demon. But I don't know why this damn judge right here sat here and lowered her bond. Like they should be sitting here throwing the book at this lady. But let's get this John started, like I said.
There is much interest in the outcome. There is much interest in the outcome of this case and in the bond. I'm going to reduce the bond to a $50,000 cash bond at this point.
A judge dramatically reduced the bond for a Pontiac mother accused of abandoning her 3 children for several years inside an unsanitary home. That story tops our newscast today. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. I'm Lauren Winfrey. 34-year-old Kelly Bryant was arraigned last month on 3 counts of first-degree child abuse. Originally, the judge set her bond at $250 million, but today it was reduced to $50,000 with several conditions.
I mean, I don't care what conditions you throw her way. Y'all need to throw the book at her. Forget that there's a key to her cage. Throw her in the hole. Let her feel what she did to her kids. Like, I'm sitting here like, damn, what mom sits here and leaves her kids, threaten her kids not to leave the house for almost 5 years while she's out there enjoying her best life? She was living in 2 separate places. And I think in one of the houses was her, when she was following a whole man. And if you can call that a man, and she was living at some other female. Listen, it is a long story. This bitch right here deserves no empathy, no sympathy, nothing.
CBS News Detroit's Elaine Rojas Castillo joins us from Pontiac with more on the conditions the judge set and when Bryant is due back in court.
After a $250 million bond is set a few weeks ago, the Pontiac woman accused of abandoning her 3 children has her bond lowered to $50,000.
The purpose of the bond is certainly not to punish. Even though this is an extremely high impact case, there is much interest in the outcome of this case and in the bond.
In her second court appearance, Kelly Bryant spoke few words, with the 34-year-old being shown virtually from Oakland County Jail. Charged with 3 counts of first-degree child abuse, prosecutors say Bryant's disregard for her children's safety and health for years make her a flight risk in need of a high bond.
We believe that she does pose a danger to the community, specifically the victims who are members of the community, who she egregiously and intentionally neglected for years.
Bryant's attorney shared letters of support written on her behalf, but underlined the seriousness of the bond.
Well, I don't know why they say she's a danger to the community, but she's a danger to her kids. I wouldn't let her around her kids at all.
Request.
It's a very difficult situation. So when I say community support, I want everybody to understand that, that shouldn't mean that, we should be worried about the children, because everybody has made the children a priority.
Along with the reduced cash-only bond, Bryant was given other conditions, including no contact with her children or anyone under the age of 18, and no contact with those caring for her children. She also cannot return to the address of the alleged incident and must use a home confinement electronic monitoring device. A mental health evaluation was also ordered, with prosecutors asking for evidence in regards to concerns about her mental state during her time in custody.
She has a history of deceiving those who were attempting to support her for years. And it is difficult for me to imagine that all of her beliefs about her alleged support systems have completely changed within 2 weeks of her being in custody.
Bryant's next court date is set for April 15th, and if convicted, she faces up to life in prison.
That's
in
what
Pontiac, Elaine Rojas Castillo, CBS News Detroit.
Listen, if convicted, there shouldn't be any, if convicted, they need to throw the book at this lady. Throw away the key and forget that she exists. Put her in a hole. Do to her what she did to them kids. And make sure that her last meal from anybody is a loaf of bread.
But as far as
I'm tripping over here talking about this judge got sympathy over her. This judge tripping.
This is Kelly Bryant, case number 250216FY.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Kanika Ferenczi on behalf of the people.
And good afternoon, Your Honor. Cecilia Caranago appear on behalf and with Kelly Bryant. She is present from the Oakland County Jail on Zoom, and we have no objection to Zoom, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Bryant. Would you state your name for the record, please?
Kelly Bryant.
Thank you. This is the time and date set that the court scheduled for defendant's motion to modify the bond and for a reasonable bond. Ms. Carandongo, you did submit a supplemental pleading. And just to clarify, it references a letter to the court. There was only one letter that you submitted, correct?
Your Honor, this morning, so I obtained a letter from a community support that was sent in a separate email to the court, not into the court file. And then there was also a letter in regards to the medical condition
I have
that
both
my
of
client
those.
has that was sent separate.
I
So
have
there
both
should
of
be one
those.
handwritten. Okay, perfect. All right. Yep,
Ms.
okay,
Farron,
yep.
So she's saying the letter regarding the medical condition, what medical the medical condition that Kelly Bryant has. The lady that she's schizophrenic or something, she got some type of mental health issue. That's the excuse they're gonna use now for every case. Now every mother out here that's killing her kids, abandoning her kids, neglecting her kids, now they all got mental conditions, huh? I mean, listen, the logic couldn't be is that, they wasn't ready to be moms. They couldn't deal, with having kids. They couldn't, deal with the fact that they were single mothers. I mean, now it's just a mental health issue. The reason why she neglected her kids now out of nowhere is because she has mental health issues.
There was just the one
Ms. Farron, you received those as well?
Yes, Your Honor, I received all those documents this morning.
All right. At this point, the court is prepared to review the items that I had mentioned on the prior date, which were those things that I will address or attempt to address, the factors to determine which pretrial release option is appropriate and under what terms and conditions. I had indicated on the prior date, I'm looking at the defendant's, if any, prior criminal record, any record of appearance or non-appearance, any history of substance abuse, mental condition, the seriousness of the offense charged, the employment history, any financial history as it relates to ability to post bail, the availability of a responsible member or members of the community who would vouch for and monitor the defendant, any facts showing community ties, family relationships, also the length of residence, and any other factors bearing on the risk of appearance or danger to the public. Ms. Kirandando, anything you wanted to add that the court did not already have at arraignment?
Well, at arraignment, I think pretrial services verified Ms. Bryant's information, but quite frankly, I mean, many of the things that were put in the motion and the supplement that was added information. I think the court was somewhat concerned about being able to verify the information. I attempted to do that. In the supplement I submitted to the court, I listed all of those factors that the court just mentioned on the record, and listed, I guess what's favorable to my client and what's not, and also how that information was verified. So if the court would like me to, I can go through, those factors, again, as I had mentioned before, both at arraignment and I think also in the first written motion and then in my supplement. I think for Ms. Bryant, we all know the court can't deny bond, so I think everybody's agreeing with that. And then it comes down to whether, essentially a cash bond is appropriate at all, or if it should be a recognizance bond with some type of conditions. And I know the people, will argue that it should be a cash bond. My position is that the only time that the court could do a cash bond is if the court finds either that she's a flight risk or that she poses a danger to the community at large.
I mean, she poses a danger to her kids, right? And not just that, she was fleeing. I mean, she was all over the world besides her kid, besides being with her kids. Like, nobody knew where these kids was. My thing is, not even the family. I don't know if they're taking care of these kids now because, out of appearance. And what I mean by that is because, damn, out of almost 5 years, y'all not once thought damn, I haven't seen my niece, my nephew, my cousin, my grandchild. But boom, out of the blue now, everybody is so concerned. So, And if she had mental health issues, I'm over here damn, that's even worse. If y'all knew she had some type of mental health issue, why not even check up on her here and there? But it's nobody even cared until this situation here surfaced. Now, out of the blue, everybody cares.
If the court would like me to, I can go through all the factors that I mentioned and
Let
information.
me interrupt you, Ms. Kirandando, because one of the main things that was of concern at arraignment was the lack of a stable address for Ms. Bryant.
See?
That was one of the things that was the focus of the arraigning judge.
That's correct, Your Honor. And Ms. Bryant has a stable residence. She had a stable residence before that, her arrest as well. Now, of course, there's additional concerns because of the publicity that this particular case.
Yo, wait a minute. No, this lawyer didn't. She said Ms. Bryant had a stable address before the arrest. Before the arrest, her kids were abandoned in the, where, they thought she was living, but she had two separate addresses. She was staying in another house. And apparently she wasn't just staying in that house. She was also staying at, I guess, a boyfriend's house. I don't know what the heck he was, right? While she had her kids in this house over here, while she was outside all day. She didn't let her kids come out. She was sending them Uber Eats while she was outside of the house instead of spending time with her kids. She would spend time with other kids instead of spending time with her kids. That's why I got these three stories together today, right? This lady right here, oh, man. And it's crazy, right? Because even Dr. Umar Johnson, the angry man, when he's speaking on Dr. Umar Johnson, right? And he says it, right? He's like, damn, if he wasn't in the kid's life, right? But he was sending child support because of whatever issues they were having. I mean, he wasn't there. You see where I'm coming from? And that's why I don't get into that. That's personal. I can't listen. I don't care if people hate him or not, but I gotta cut this shit down the middle, man. I gotta be real about this shit. I'm in the hood, right? And I'm from North Philadelphia at that. I know how some of these chicks can be. And I don't know this man from a can of paint, so I can't sit here. I can't judge. I'm not even God to begin to judge this man. You see where I'm coming from? And I'm sure as hell I'm not gonna bash a man on, with so much shit that women do to men. But at the end of the day, look, listen. It's fucked up. Yes, that's one thing that I could agree. If he's out here helping, other kids and not helping his kid, but then the crazy part is, right, isn't he not doing his part, right, by giving the child support to the mom, right? If the mom didn't want him around, you see where I'm coming from? How can he make it possible to be around this kid, especially when they're already in an arrangement just to pay child support? Y'all do know that some men, especially now I'm noticing it even more, some men prefer to walk away and not be a part of their kid's life just to avoid the bullshit and the drama with the baby mama. Because enough is enough. If it's not a fight, it's an argument, it's bullshit time after time. And then at the end of the day, some of them end up in jail. And I'm not defending Dr. Umar Johnson. Crazy part about it is I'm just really learning a lot about him within the past 3 to 4 years. That's it. I didn't know about him before that. And now I'm hearing more about him in 2025. And listen, he didn't draw my attention before. And it's not because, it's that, like, how can I say it? He wasn't really hitting my algorithm like that. And it's kind of like, all right, he's a community activist. He's doing what he's got to do. I was never in a million years sitting here thinking, oh, well, he's a community activist like me. Let me go sit here and dig up his personal life. For what? How is that going to benefit me? It's not. Me digging up somebody's personal life, that shit is crazy. But let's get back on topic. Let's get back. We'll talk about Umar Johnson when we get to the Angry Man video, right? But I just want y'all to see, listen, right here, this is an evil woman, right? Could you call her a deadbeat, baby mama? Because of how she treated her kids? What defines a deadbeat baby mama, deadbeat, baby dad? I thought that, if they're a deadbeat, they're not a part of their kids' lives in any way, shape, or form. They're not there present, and they're not there economically, which means they're not there helping, supporting in any way, shape, or form with money, or with their presence. I would consider that a deadbeat baby mama or a deadbeat baby, dad. I think the word is being very outrated. But this right here, this is a perfect definition of a person that shouldn't be even a parent right here. This woman right here, they need to throw the book at her and throw the key away.
Case has received So Ms. Bryant would not, and I did provide also, I think prior to the last court hearing, the court with the address. And I indicated also who resides at that address for the court. I'm very concerned about putting any of that on the record, given, you know, the kind of posture of this case. But that is with a family member who has also lifelong ties to the community. So Ms. Bryant does have a stable residence to go to. I have also spoken, you know, to other family members, and I spoke to the person who provided a letter to the court, who is also a pillar of the community. Every one of them are willing to, you know, to supervise and I shouldn't say, you know, vouch, but make sure that Ms. Bryant gets to court. And I think, you know, a Tepper could also assure all of that. The court would be aware 24/7 where Ms. Bryant is. So you know, she was not transient. I know the previous judge you know, made some statements that Ms. Bryant was transient. She was absolutely not transient. She was staying at a residence and had.
She should have been with her kids in the home where her kids were. You know what? You know, Ray, listen, just fall back and chill. You want to know why? This is a lawyer. Her job is to sit here and convince, you know, either the jurors or the judge, right, that her client is innocent of all charges. Her client is not innocent. Y'all, listen, man. Bro, I'll be like a combination of fucking, what's his name? I forgot which one was it. The very first Law and Order, right? Not Criminal Intent, the other one, right? Jack was the prosecutor, right? I feel like I'm a combination of Olivia Benson and Jack, for real.
Stayed there for quite some time. That is not a residence given the, you know, circumstances as they are right now that she would be returning to, and that is mainly due, you know, to the amount of publicity that this case has received. So of course now, you know, there's new concerns, but she absolutely does have, you know, a residence to return to. And I don't believe she was ever transient, Your Honor.
All right.
And I don't think there was any evidence of that either, quite frankly.
All right. As to residence, Ms. Ferenczi, is there any comment?
Yes, Your Honor, I would like to address residency, and then because I only received the supplemental motion this morning, I would like to respond to much of what was documented in that motion, Your Honor. Okay. But in regards to residence, what the people find troubling is that the individual that the defendant is being asked to be released to and reside with isn't the one that wrote the letter. That individual is not vouching for her, and I don't believe that individual has appeared in court and is willing to provide that voucher to the court. That is a concern, and it actually speaks to the high level of instability for Ms. Bryant. A lot of the statements about her transient nature is in conflict with what she told police when she was interviewed. So I do find it troubling when the information is, at times it feels like it's self-serving for Ms. Bryant. I'm happy to address the other issues though, Your Honor, in the supplemental motion.
Your Honor, may I address that particular point that Ms. Ferenczi is making? So I will just tell the court, as an officer of the court, I've spoken to many of Ms. Bryant's family members. And here's the reality of things. The children, you know, I think everybody has now known to know where the children are. And so the children are with family. And so it becomes a very difficult balance as far as, you know, supporting, sending letters. I had conversations.
Yo, why you like she want to smirk as she was talking? Like, yo, I cannot believe that she's believing her own lies. As deep as this case is, and she's here pleading for her to get a lower bond. This judge does lower the bond, but her walking free, nah.
With the individual whose address, you know, was offered as a residence, and that individual wanted to talk to Ms. Bryant too. There are issues with setting up, you know, phone accounts for the Oakland County Jail and actually establishing that communication, to be frank with the court. I spoke to that individual about a letter when she spoke to me, and again, this is, as an officer of the court, when she spoke to me, she was absolutely willing to provide that letter. But there was also just a very short amount of time in which to accomplish that. And she had requested to speak with Ms. Bryant first on the phone. And it's my understanding that there was no previous, account set up for that. And there was 2 days to do it. So that's the reality of it. So it has nothing to do with the person not being willing to vouch for her. That person indicated to me that she absolutely would supervise Ms. Bryant and make sure, that she comes to court. But again, and I think that's the concern for the court, is that the court would like someone to say they're going to make sure she comes. And that brings me to some other things I put in my motion, which I don't think the people are disputing that this young lady,
Let me stop you for a moment, because on the issue of
Yeah,
where
she was
she will be
long-winded.
staying, the court needs to be convinced that this is a stable residence if there are any modifications to the bond where there's a potential that she could be released. I understand the nature of people being hesitant to come forward given the amount of publicity, but the court has to be convinced that Ms. Bryant would return to court and also that she will not be a danger. So go ahead, Ms. Kirandano.
Yes, so in regards to the return to court, Your Honor, which goes to the flight risk portion of, the bond factors that the court can consider, Ms. Bryant has no criminal history. So there's no history of her, appearing or not appearing in court at all, which means she has no history of failing to appear. She
has no history of, disappearing or appearing in court, yeah. But she does have a history of disappearing from her kids and nobody being able to find her. Like, they with all the, that's why damn, I don't got the video on here, but there is a video, right, with an update. I think I played it on one of my last lives, but I have to do another update on this right here, right? There is a video where, they found the 2 houses where she was staying at. One was, I think, a friend, and the other one was the boyfriend.
And this information was verified by pretrial services. In addition to that, Ms. Bryant, and this is in the police report, so I don't think this is something that will be disputed by the people. Ms. Bryant, when she was contacted, so she was contacted by the sheriff's department and the officer in charge of this case in regards to this case once the children had been located, and she paid for a Lyft ride to the Oakland County Sheriff's Office to turn herself in to talk to the officers. I've been in practice.
She only turned herself in because she knew it was going to get harder for her. They was going to really start searching for her, and it was going to, listen, that's the only reason why she turned herself in. She got caught, point blank, period.
For a number of years now, and I don't think I've ever had a client who actually paid for a share ride to go turn themselves into the Oakland County Jail, and she did that.
So it might
After
be simpler.
that,
It might be simpler if I go through the issues that I don't believe are in dispute. One, the fact that Ms. Bryant turned herself in after being contacted. I don't believe that that is in dispute.
It's not, Your Honor.
That's correct, Your Honor. The only issue that I would argue that is in dispute, her ability to cooperate with law enforcement.
Understood. Let me finish going through the items that I'm looking at. There is not a prior criminal record.
We do not dispute that.
All right. There is no record of prior non-appearance or flight to avoid prosecution.
That's understood, yes.
Okay. So the issues that the court needs to hear about are, and the court is already aware of the seriousness of the offense charged, and that is certainly something the court will be taking into consideration in modifying any bond. But we have not heard regarding the employment status, financial history as it relates to an ability to post, ties to the community, ties to family members, and the residency is still an issue. So Ms. Kirandano, if you can address those matters.
Yes, Your Honor. So in regards to the personal circumstances, which I think addresses many of those issues, Ms. Bryant does have a mental health diagnosis. This is reflected in the police report. And I'll tell the court I did submit a subpoena for her records for CNS, which I noted in my supplement that that's where she was going. I gave the court the name of her case manager for treatment too. It's not enough time to get those records, but this was noted. I also believe it might have been noted in the pretrial services report.
It is
right now. I believe so, and that information was verified, I believe, by her father.
Oh, wow. You know what's crazy? Hearing this right here, she may get off a little easy. They might put her in a mental institution for a minute to do her time. She might win this mental case. I don't know. What do y'all think? Let us shorty know down below. Will she beat this case due to, mental default?
So she wasn't receiving any medications, but she was receiving treatment. In regards to her physical health, which is one of the other considerations, I did provide the court with a letter that indicates a medical diagnosis for which she's supposed to be receiving infusions. The jail can't accommodate that. Ms. Bryant also was scheduled to have surgery, which that time has passed, but she has issues with which could be internal bleeding that was supposed to be addressed via surgery, and she hasn't been able to have that surgery. I again submitted a subpoena for those records. It's just simply not enough time for St. Joe's, but I did provide as much information as I could to the court on that.
So she has mental health issues, right? For 4.5 years, 5. You're telling me that her mom, the grandmother of these kids, and her father, the grandfather of these kids, not once even, damn, I wonder where my kids at. Are they okay? Did she do anything to them? If her mental health issues are that deep that she needs, that injection and stuff like that. And I know what the injection is, and I'm thinking that she has schizophrenia because I know that they gave my brother an injection for schizophrenia because the medication wasn't working. So they was trying some type of injection at one point. So I'm a little curious. Why wasn't her mother and her father, the kids' grandparents, a little more active in their life? 5 years, almost 5 years, the school didn't even notice that, they was going through this. So they was living in a house full of trash, and the mom was sending them Uber Eats from time to time. And she was outside, all day. I'm sitting here like, yo, what in the world? But you're telling me for 5 years, the grandparents knowing what they know, not once went and checked on those kids to see if they were okay? I'm sorry, but in this case, I feel as though everybody knew. Something is not right. The more and more I learn about this case, I feel as though the people around her knew what she was doing to these kids and they didn't care. So that leaves me to ask, will these kids be better off with with the family, whatever family member they're with? Or foster care? Unfortunately, y'all know that I'm not with the foster care system, but damn.
Ms. Bryant also, she is a lifelong resident of the city of Pontiac, which that was verified, I believe, by pretrial services. I also believe that the community support letter that I provided to the court indicates that that person is a resident of the city of Pontiac and has known Ms. Bryant since she was 14 years old. Also, her information in regards to being a Pontiac resident was verified by her father through pretrial services. I don't think there's a dispute that Ms. Bryant has lived in the city of Pontiac her whole life. She went to school in the city of Pontiac, and she's never left the city of Pontiac. So that indicates that she has strong ties to the community. I also believe that both the community support letter and also pretrial support.
She keep bringing up that she has strong ties to the community. What is she, a community activist? She's out here doing fundraisers. What, she's got businesses around? How is she a strong tie to the community? How is she benefiting her community? She can't even benefit her own kids. How does she have strong ties to her community once again?
Services as well as information in the police report indicate that she has family in the area. Her parents are here. I also indicated to the court that she has siblings in the city of Pontiac She again has community support, which is not family, but family, longtime family friend, who appears to be an upstanding member of the local community, who provided a letter to the court indicating that she was in support of Ms. Bryant. So she absolutely has community support. Again, it's a very difficult situation. So when I say community support, I want everybody to understand that that shouldn't mean that, we should be worried about the children, because everybody has made the children a priority. So I just, want the court to know that. But Ms. Bryant absolutely does have a lot of support in the community. In regards to substance abuse, there's no history of substance abuse for Ms. Bryant that I'm aware. It was not noted in any of the reports, and she has not indicated to me that she had a history of substance abuse or substance use. Even marijuana or alcohol. So I don't think that is something that should be of concern to the court. But again, if it was, the court could order her into testing to ensure that she's not using any illegal substances. That's a pretty standard condition of bond. Ms. Bryant also submitted, in regards to income, pretrial services report did note her past history of employment. I noted in my supplement that she was also, prior to her incarceration, she was employed. She was paid through the state of Michigan. I could not obtain that information because it's confidential information, and it was something that was shared with me a few days ago. So I was not able to obtain verification, but Ms. Bryant did inform me of who the person at the state of Michigan that was responsible for her was, and she provided me with that name. Unfortunately, it's a very common name within the Department of Health and Human Services, so I was not able to obtain specific information. She does have a pay stub. It's at the residence she was at. I made contact with the person who resides there. They were trying to locate the paperwork for me, but they were not able to locate it as of yesterday evening at 9 p.m. But she was employed, taking home about $800 a month.
I mean, she must have had her mental health under control, that she was able, she was employed and everything. The question, I feel as though, like, listen, if she had her mental health under control, right, she was able to work and all that, right? Everything this lawyer is saying is an excuse. Because if she was able to work, what was the excuse for not being able to, be there for her kids? She was able to be there for other kids, give other kids hugs and play with them. Why couldn't she come home, relax with her kids, watch TV with her kids, watch a movie with her kids, chill with her kids, make dinner for her kids, make breakfast for her kids? Help her kids, learn, teach them how to properly bathe, how to cook, and much more. Mental health or not, it seemed like she knew enough. She knew right from wrong. And she was treating herself. She wasn't that off that she couldn't be there with her kids. It seems like she didn't want her kids. I've seen, parents with mental health issues, right? And them taking the help because they want it. Right? They've been able to be there for their kids. When they don't take the help, they can't be there for their kids. So, I mean, something is way off in this story. No matter how you want to put it, and the more and more this lawyer speaks for her, it's like she's digging a bigger hole for her.
So that was what she was making at the time she became incarcerated. That amount of money a month would still make her indigent, which she's already been found to be, which goes to her ability to post a monetary bond. Oakland County appointed her an attorney because she didn't have the funds to hire one. So I think, but she did have employment, which is also something that ties her to the community. I just think her employment would not be enough, to post a monetary bail. I don't believe there's any family members that have funds. Like I said, they're all caring for the children, and, that's financially stressful too. Nobody has money to post bond for her. At this time, I don't believe. The employment history, what was disclosed to pretrial services, was verified. Again, it appears that her father verified that information for pretrial services. And some of the other employment that she had was also, verified through the family court case. There was discussions about that. I'm not entirely sure if Ms. Ferenczi was on there when that took place, but it is also information that's been provided to the Department of Health and Human Services. The risk to the community, that's one of the factors the court must take into consideration as well. And again, the chance of her reappearing, I wanted to just address that briefly. The court could address that by placing her in a steel cuff tether that she can't remove from her leg. The court would be aware at all times where she is. If she failed to appear, the tether would indicate where she is. But again, Ms. Bryant turned herself in and actually was.
Yo, I can't stand this lawyer right now. I just want to pull her out the screen and smack her. Yo, we got the beautiful Miss Chicago in the building. Blessings, Miss Chicago. Blessings. How you doing this evening? Yo, I just can't. Like, this lawyer just keep finding excuse after excuse. When is the other lawyer going to talk? I want to hear what they're trying to do to her. Like, I listen. I want to hear. I'm not going to be satisfied until I hear they're going to throw a book at her, right? And throw the key away. Put her in a hole and let her experience what she did to her kids. Because it seemed like she was stable enough. She could have taken care of her kids, regardless of any. And that's what I'm saying. Like, this lawyer is digging a bigger hole. If you listen carefully to what she's saying, she's digging a bigger hole for her client. You're not making her see any better. She had a whole income, and you're telling me that she couldn't be there with her kids? She stopped paying rent. That's why she got caught. But she was paying rent elsewhere. She had a stable home, right? Before she got arrested, like you say, but the home she should have been in and should have been stabled in should have been with her kids. Oh, I'm telling you. You know what's crazy? This lawyer, if she was sitting here, right, in this girl's foot, she wouldn't be saying the same thing.
Was inquiring, and I think that people would agree as to the charges she was facing. She knew she was potentially facing serious charges. She's aware. I've met with her probably 10 times at this point. She knows what she's facing. I don't have any reason to believe she has nowhere else to go. So she's a Pontiac resident. She's been here her whole life, and I think if she wanted to flee the state or go somewhere, she'd have done that, already, I think, because she was, again, not apprehended.
So I'm going to allow the prosecutor to respond to what you have said so far, but I will change a couple of things or modify. You indicated that pretrial services had verified her employment. That's not what the report reflects. It reflects that the defendant reported she had been unemployed since August of 2024. No sources of, no sources of income were reported. Prior to that, she indicated where she had been working for about a month. So I realize that you are saying you have not had an opportunity to get all of that confirmation, but that you have been seeking it. Ms. Ferenczi?
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, as the court has already noted, the allegations and charges in this case are very serious. Defendant, as the court is well aware, is being charged with 3 counts of child abuse, first degree, and there is a very high likelihood of conviction. The people are happy to provide any facts or evidence if the court would like to hear it, and the initial guidelines call for significant jail time. Your Honor, as I already indicated, the people do not dispute that Ms. Bryant turned herself in and that she cooperated with law enforcement. But as the court is also aware, that does not equate any sort of assurances that she will appear in court. In regards to the mental health diagnoses and that she was being treated by CNS, there's no proof of a diagnosis, nor were any dates provided to confirm that this is accurate. The people at this point do not believe the defendant is a reliable source of information. She has a history of concealing and deceiving. That is what we have here, Your Honor. And without any sort of proof, I do not believe that the court can use that as accurate information. In regards to defendant's physical health, again, there was no verification of this medical condition. What was provided was a treatment plan from the clinic at Oakland County Jail. And it seems like she is receiving that treatment that is necessary at the clinic. The clinic deems is necessary. There was an additional allegation that the defendant needed transfusions and a possible procedure, again, not supported by documentation. But Your Honor, regardless of that situation, I would be hard pressed not to address the reason why we're here today. The reason we're here today is because defendant did not provide her own children, the victims here, with basic medical care, basic needs for years. And this irony of her condition right now is not lost on me. And it seems like she can and is being treated appropriately at the clinic at the county jail. Your Honor, in regards to Ms. Bryant's employment history, again, no proof was provided about her employment status. And as the court has already highlighted, the information that was provided has not been confirmed even with pretest.
So does that make her lawyer one lying sack of shit?
So again, the people do have a concern that defendant is not a reliable source of information. What the people can confirm is that Ms. Bryant abandoned her children, the victims in this case, in an unlivable residence where several rent payments lapsed. In regards to defendant's ties to the community and the support alleged in the supplemental motion, upon information and belief, the statements that Ms. Bryant had made to the police are quite the opposite regarding her level of support. Again, she has a history of deceiving those who are attempting to support her for years. And it is difficult for me to imagine that all of her beliefs about her alleged support systems have completely changed within 2 weeks of her being in custody. And honestly, it does feel self-serving, Your Honor. The letter that was provided to strengthen her community support argument was not, again, as the court has already heard, was not from the individual who she is requesting to be released to and reside with. That individual in the letter wants to remain anonymous. How is that considered a voucher or a support for the defendant? In the letter, the individual does not make any statements about how they intend to assist the defendant if she were released, and when the last time they even spoke. That individual also admits that the defendant lied about the victim's whereabouts. They also stated the defendant knew that this individual was there if she needed help, but defendant never reached out. This is all very troubling to the people, and it is telling about the serious instability of defendant's support and her willingness to rely on that support. No one is willing to vouch for the defendant. Your Honor, in regards to defendant's potential flight risk, the people do believe the defendant is a potential flight risk with the level of local and national attention and her lack of community ties and stable housing. Most importantly, we believe that she does pose a danger to the community, specifically the victims who are members of the community, who she egregiously and intentionally neglected for years. And one other point the people want to address is the risk of reoffending. The people do believe the risk of reoffending is high here. Again, in her own statements to the police, while she was cooperating with law enforcement, defendant was not accepting or acknowledging what she did, which places a high risk of reoffending. And Your Honor, our request has always remained the same. We are requesting a high cash bail, no cash surety, no 10% provision, Your Honor.
Yo, this is crazy. Let me ask y'all, what do y'all think, right? What are y'all thoughts on the judge's decision to reduce the bond from $250 million to $50,000? Like, what made this judge have so much sympathy? Because the first one sat here and she said 250 mil. She wasn't having no sympathy, not whatsoever. How do you think the legal system should balance the need for justice with the rights of a accused in cases like this? How can communities better support children who are victims of neglect and abuse, like in this situation, like with this mother right here? I would love for y'all to answer those questions down below, right? And let's get this discussion going, y'all.
All right, thank you. Ms. Kirindongo, this is your burden to modify the bond at this point. So any comments that are not repeating what you've already said, but anything else in conclusion to your argument?
I will try not to repeat myself, Your Honor. I just wanted to say that in regards to the bond amount or the kind of bond, quite frankly, the court would be much more assured of Ms. Bryant's appearance if the court was to do a surety bond, because it would involve potentially a bail bondsman who would also, in addition to any other supervision the court would order, would also be supervising her whereabouts. So actually asking for a cash only bond, I think on behalf of the people, for me, would be less of assurance of her, if that's what they're going to argue, of her appearing. A cash surety bond, on the other hand, would involve another party being a bail bondsman.
Listen, let me ask you a question. Should, parents that abuse their kids like this, whether they're fathers, mothers, right? And in this case, is a mother, right? Should they be released on bond? Or, should they just go straight to trial, then be, behind a cage until, they're, how can I say it, proven innocent or guilty? How do y'all feel about the use of GPS tethers and other monitoring tools for individuals released on bond? And what measures can be taken to ensure that children in similar situations receive the care and support they need? What can we do?
That all being said, Your Honor, I think I provided a lot of specificities in the information that I provided to the court. Reality of it is that, you can't get this information in writing in 2 days. Nobody ever has that information when a person is being arraigned at, first arraignment date. And, again, given the level of attention this case has received, it's been difficult. The person signed their name to the letter, so the court knows who this person is. And I think everybody can appreciate, given the level of attention this case has received, why people don't want to show up on screen here with all the cameras and the news. And, I don't think that that's anything that would be abnormal. That being said, I think if the court was to follow the bond statute, again, Ms. Bryant's bond, I don't believe should be a cash bond. It should be a recognizance bond with conditions, which as I indicated, could include a steel cuff tether, pretrial supervision, mental health treatment, drug screens. And, all of those things would assure her reappearance and would also assure that the court knows where she is. So I'm asking based on that. And I think, in regards to reoffending, we know who the complaining witnesses were. I don't believe there's any risk of reoffending the children again, would not be in Ms. Bryant's care.
All right, thank you. At this point, the court did set this for a separate hearing in order to review whether there should be a modification of the bond. And as I indicated, the party seeking the modification had the burden of going forward with this. So the real question for the court is there a substantial reason to modify the original bond as set? Now, the purpose of the bond and pretrial release conditions are to ensure the defendant's return to court and also the protection of the public and alleged victims in the case. The purpose of the bond is certainly not to punish, even though this is an extremely high impact case. There is much interest in the outcome of this case and in the bond. So, but the law is very clear that with certain exceptions, a criminal defendant is entitled as a matter of constitutional right to have a reasonable bond or bail established for pretrial release. Cash bond is permissible if the defendant's appearance or the protection of the public cannot otherwise be assured. The court recognizes that this bond review hearing was set in a fairly short period of time, and some of the information that I requested, according to defense counsel, could not be provided within this time. I'll also note that the principal charges in this case are felonies, but not strictly assaulted crimes under the court rule. So at this point, I have reviewed all of the factors that the court is to take into consideration in determining the proper bail. The court has also reviewed the pretrial services report, and in that report, there was still a question as to the residence. However, for purposes of going forward, we will use the address that is listed on the complaint and also in the pretrial services report. In terms of the mental health concerns, the court will address that as a condition of bond. I am still
As a
not
condition of bond?
satisfied that the court can at this point say that there is a guarantee of a return to court. The defendant has not been a flight risk in the past. However, the potential penalty in this case is quite high given the nature of the charge. The protection of the public and the victims is also a concern, and I do share some of the concerns that were mentioned by the arraigning judge in terms of the defendant's potential to reach out to the alleged victims, the children in the case, to try to influence any testimony, and I'm going to deal with that issue. So I realize that there may be a need to do further review of the bond, but I do find that the court has an obligation to set a reasonable bond, and the current bond amounts to a denial of bond. So what I'm going to do is modify based on the information that we have that is verified.
Yo, this judge is being too, oh my God, she's being too easy. Like, all right, what role do you think mental health evaluation should play in determining bond and sentencing in child abuse cases? Right, I feel as though that her bond shouldn't be determined on her mental health. Like, she's shown that regardless of anything, she's doing good with her mental health, right? And even before that, like, lady, like, she was able to allegedly work, right? According to her lawyer, she was able to work and do this and do that, but she couldn't take care of her kids. To me, I feel as though she just didn't care. She had some kids. She didn't want the burden with these kids, so she just neglected these kids. She didn't even want the baby dad in the picture. Like, listen, I don't like, and it was crazy as the other lawyer says there's no proof about, her mental health. So they need to do a little more investigating when it comes to her, right? And once again, what role do y'all think that, mental health evaluation should play in determining the bond and sentencing in child abuse cases like this one right here? And what measures can be taken to ensure that children in similar situations receive the care and support they need? These kids were, they were failed by DHS, the government. They were failed by, their mother, their father. They were failed by the school system. Like, how can the public stay informed and involved in advocating for the welfare of children in their communities? Will be my last question to y'all, right? So I'm going to let this play a little bit longer. And, if anybody decides to write something in the chat, I would love to hear it.
I'm going to modify the bond in this case. I'm still requiring a cash bond for purposes of ensuring that the defendant returns to court to give further support to protection of the public and to prevent reoffending. But I'm going to reduce the bond to a $50,000 cash bond at this point with the following conditions. The defendant will be on pretrial services supervision. There's to be no alcohol or illegal drug use, no possession of a weapon, no assaultive conduct of any sort while this case is pending, no contact with any child under the age of 18, absolutely no contact with the alleged victims in this case. That means no contact at all, including no personal contact, phone calls, text messages, no reaching out to parties who have control of those children right now, no contact with them whatsoever. I am going to...
She had them kids manipulated and brainwashed for almost 5 years, man. And I feel as though that the people around her knew about it, especially her parents, the kids' grandparents. And y'all going to sit here and tell me that allegedly the father's going to speak out about her having mental health issues, right? But out of, almost 4 to 5 years, not once did they decide to sit here, oh, let me, I haven't seen my grandson and my grandkids in 4 or 5 years. Not even a year passed by. Y'all still ain't checked. 2 years passed by. Y'all still ain't checked. The last time y'all had, communication with your grandkids was around, I guess, allegedly it was 2020, right before, she decided to abandon these kids. But now out of nowhere, everybody just sits here and cares. Come on, let's be real about this shit.
Impose a home confinement electronic monitoring device. The defendant may not leave home except for medical emergencies, court appearances, court-ordered testing. And if employment can be verified, it is not verified at this point, then seeking and maintaining employment. But at this point, that has not been verified. So I don't want there to be any confusion in indicating that the defendant can go to and from work. We need verification first. Any other travel will require permission of the court. No return to the address of the alleged incident. No return to the address of the alleged victim. Any changes of address would have to be provided to the court within 24 hours. Those would be the modifications to the bond at this point. Any questions as to what the court is requiring? And I will note that Ms. Bryant, be aware that if you violate any condition of release, you would be subject to arrest without a warrant and may have your bond forfeited, revoked, new conditions imposed in addition to any other penalties if you are found in contempt of court. Any questions, Ms. Kirandongo, as to what the court is requiring?
Just a clarification, so that's still no surety?
Correct.
Thank you, Brother Cash
Ms.
for whoever
Ferentz, any questions?
it. I don't have a drop yet, but I will have one soon.
And if, Ms. Kirandongo, as further information is received, I know you have subpoenaed some information, you can provide that to the court. The court is willing to do an individualized review later as well. And also, if I did not indicate, a mental health evaluation and following any treatment plans as a condition of bond, since mental health conditions were reported.
So she would be able to leave in order to get that accomplished, I'm guessing, correct, even though it's not a medical emergency. It would need to be a separate, I think, exception to the home confinement.
That would have to be something that pretrial services will be further involved in.
Thank you, Anna.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Ferentz, any questions?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right.
Yo, this whole situation is crazy. Yo. Y'all know how I feel and what I think, man. Let her, shorty, leave your comments down below, man. I listened throughout the live. I gave my commentary. I gave my perspective. I've asked questions, so hopefully, I hear from y'all. Let us shorty know what y'all think and what y'all feel like. Or my biggest question to me, to y'all is, what should be done, in cases like this? Let me put it like this. What measures can be taken, right, to ensure that, children in similar situations like this receive the care and support they need? Because these children were failed by, different parts of the community, their own community. The person that was supposed to sit there and protect them, right? The government, the school system, and much more. And that's not, what? I think I got a bigger question, and I asked it throughout the live, right? What role do you think mental health evaluation should play in determining the bond and sentences in child abuse cases? Child abuse cases, right? But that's all I got on this case right here. We're going to move on to the next topic, right, guys? And that is, right, we got Detroit mother of 2 faces criminal charges and her kids didn't freeze, right? So apparently, I don't know if y'all remember the Detroit mother, right? Her 2 kids apparently froze to death, right? One night, she was staying in front of a casino in her van, right? So apparently, that wasn't true. Hold on one second. So I didn't get, I wanted to bring the update on this, but it was going to take, because I got already a live set up for this weekend, and it was going to take me a minute. So I got to give a big shout out to Carlos, right? It's Carlos King. I don't know if y'all watch him, right? But he has actually broken, wait, did I put the right one down? Nope, I didn't. He has actually broken this down. He put all the videos together. So Shorty's going to review and react to his live, right? As soon as I could do this real quick. Here we go. So he got all the videos together and he has an update for us, right? And the Shorty's going to review and react to this. Normally, I would get the videos together and I would react to the videos myself, but I don't have enough time for that, between the community meetings, the town hall meetings, and all the stuff that the Shorty is doing, plus her personal life. I didn't really, have time to sit here, boom. Like, I just found this out, when was it? Earlier today, and he uploaded this video, when was it? 21 hours ago, right? So we're going to check this video out. So we're going to get the update on the Detroit mother of two, right, who's facing now criminal charges and her kids didn't freeze in the cold. The truth is out. What's crazy is, right, they gave this mother, after her kids died, a whole house with food in it and everything where she could live for a whole year for free. And it turns out that her kids didn't even freeze to death. I knew something was off in this story, right? And she shouldn't be the only one charged. The father, right? The baby dad should also be facing charges in this situation. But just give me 1 second, guys, right? Let me warm my food up real quick, and I'll be right back.
I'm strong. With faith as my shield, I'll keep marching on.
So we got the Detroit mother right here. Here we go. All right. So if y'all catch my previous lives, right, y'all will get my perspective. I am gonna get my commentary. This video is not mine, so big shout out to Carlos King for this video and for the update on this case.
She and her family were gifted a new home weeks after losing her two children to hypothermia, 9-year-old Darnell and 2-year-old Amila. Williams says she
asked the right people. She was scared of what the world would think of her, so she did privately the right thing. She asked the city, and what they do, they told her they couldn't help her.
And the kid's grandmother, 49-year-old Yvette Goodman, was also in the van that day. Did the van run out of gas?
I have no idea what happened. I have no idea.
Did you fall asleep?
Yes.
And then when you woke?
Only night I fell asleep. I usually be woke.
And when you woke up, what happened?
My grandson wasn't
in the Detroit parking garage.
The Wayne County Medical Examiner says they did not freeze like a lot of people thought. Fox 2's Jessica Dubnak explains why the official cause.
All right, what's up with it, y'all? So look, man, I'm back again with another video, and this is the update on the situation that took place with the Detroit mother and her two children passing away in the vehicle. Now look, y'all damn near turning me into a blogger over here with all these damn updates coming out back to back to back, and y'all know I'm not no blogger, and it's not a blogging channel. This is a reaction channel, but I do bring y'all news, and I do bring y'all
Listen, I am glad that you're doing this, that you're bringing the update on this case, man, because it was going to take me a minute to pull it together, right? And I knew something was off with this mom, right? I just couldn't pinpoint it, but listen, you bringing out the evidence, you bringing out the proof, man, that's what we needed. So shout out to you, and I appreciate you. I got to give you your roses now, man, because a lot of people was feeling sympathy. It's crazy how after she's given a house with food in it, and she could live in that joint for free for a year. It turns out that apparently they didn't freeze to death. Did she kill her kids?
Updates, but the updates are coming out fast as hell. So look, let's go ahead and jump into this situation right here and break everything down to y'all that's out so far. And I'm gonna let y'all also watch certain things in the past that were said, so y'all can kind of piece together what's going on. But look, If y'all like these micro updates in between time, let me know by hitting the like button or leaving a comment or something like that. And I'll keep on bringing updates in between time until the major things happen. But basically, this girl right here, the warrant is pending. Now, what I mean by that is the police have presented it to the district attorneys, and they're basically trying to see if they're going to approve it or not, which I'm pretty sure that they will. But basically, long story short, well, I ain't even going to say that. You know, a lot of people were kind of saying certain things last time when I both posted videos saying that I was kind of being insensitive to the situation. When really, in all actuality, I was just only saying that the mother was, you know, lacking in certain areas by not being there with her children. But we didn't know exactly what was going on. But I kind of knew a little bit ahead of time. That's why I left this comment 3 weeks ago that you can see right here, where I stated that the truth will come out soon. You know, the grandmother actually stated in one of the videos that she didn't know what happened. They let me know right there was some bullshit off top. But they have a pending warrant. The criminal charges have always been open when it came to this. So what I'm thinking is that they got her on film gambling or leaving them all together, because, you know, I don't see her getting blamed if they all were in the vehicle at that time. You know what I'm saying? And multiple people are saying that they believe that the mother really was in the car. And I'm telling y'all right now, ain't no way in the hell she was in that goddamn car.
And I agree with him. Something was off. Neither was the grandmother. The grandmother was asked, you know, was you asleep? She said, yes, I fell asleep. You don't know what happened? I don't know what happened. It looked like she was, you know, like reading from a script or something. Like, it made me feel like the media was out here, you know, like this was fake. Like something that they was set up just to distract us. But apparently it was because, you know, of the way everything happened. Did the cops know? Were they aware of everything, you know, and kept it, and then, you know, had the public thinking something else until now?
Well, that's just my personal opinion. But if she was, you know, I will retract that statement when the truth come out. But right now they're trying to charge her with some criminal charges, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be like neglect or something like that. But it's so many different things that came out a while ago, you know, but they're saying that they're not going to tell everything. And some of the things that they said a while ago was basically that the district attorneys and things like that are reviewing this whole situation. And I want to say another thing as well. People are saying that the father should be charged. I definitely do agree with that. But normally, typically, they just charge the person that has the children directly, like direct access. Now, me personally, I do feel like he should be charged because, I mean, hell, you out here being a bum, deadbeat ass dude when you need to be there for your kids. That's just how I feel. Now, a lot of people are also saying that her getting the house is a slap in the face. If you don't know, they gave her a home not too long ago.
Wonderful. Tatiana Williams with a reason to smile today. She and her family were gifted a new home weeks after losing her 2 children to hypothermia, 9-year-old Darnell and 2-year-old Amila. Williams says she thinks about them all the time.
It's a lot that I'm going through.
To live in, they tried to honor the whole situation with her losing her children and stuff like that. I got that video in here as well too. They gave her.
They did that because they were feeling bad, because she went to ask for help, but they, you know, pushed her to the side. A shelter is supposed to accept you no matter how full they are, but apparently they pushed her away. They neglected her. They said no, she couldn't be there. I mean, baby daddy, I guess he was being, you know, a bum. I mean, could this be an example of a deadbeat baby daddy once again? As we know, since people want to use the word so much, because this person was not there in the kid's life. This person was not providing, you know, economically or nothing like that. We'll get to that. We'll get to that topic in a minute.
Her house and stuff like that. And I do feel like they were wrong for giving her that house, knowing damn well that they wanted to charge her with certain things, but they just trying to make it look good. And I do understand that. But the grandmother and the mother, they were there with the children for a certain amount of time, and then they left. That's my personal opinion. I posted in that video last time just to show y'all that it was something missing, but people overlooked it. They were just, you know, emotionally reacting.
You're not wrong. There's a reason why they were in front of that casino. And I said it. But the way they were putting the news out, it was like they froze to death. They died off of hyperthermia. So it's like, damn. But now when you hear how these kids die, my biggest question is, did this mother plan on killing her kids?
Which I could do understand that, but I posted that for y'all to actually say what the hell did she mean by she didn't know what happened. But they said that the cause of them passing away was not hypothermia. They didn't freeze. They actually had carbon monoxide poisoning from the vehicle and stuff like that, which is understandable, you know. And I do feel sorry for the children. And they also stated that the children's teeth were rotting. They had lice and things like that over them and stuff. It's just sad all the way around, bro. I do have a couple of different videos that I did add to the end of this video right here from past videos and recent as well. But she will be charged, in my personal opinion. And I do feel like that she needs to be, prosecuted to the maximum extent. They're trying to remove the children from her permanently. And, I can understand them doing that. I really do hate that her situation is the way that it is. But, I just feel like I know mothers with more children who will do a lot more, and leaving your.
Damn, my bad. I was muted the whole time. I did not notice I was muted, yo. So let me ask y'all once again, jeez, man, what are y'all thoughts, right? With him saying what he just said, right? And y'all learning how the kids, recently got unalived, right? What are y'all thoughts on the initial reports that the children froze to death, and how do you feel about the revelation that they actually died from carbon monoxide poisoning? How do you think the legal system should handle cases involving homeless families and the tragic outcomes they sometimes face? So for anybody catching the replay, anybody that comes into the chat, man, leave your comments down below and let this, conversation going.
Your children in the vehicle is totally unacceptable. I just will never understand it, and I never will. You out here doing whatever you want to do while they in there suffering, But hey, let me know your thoughts and opinions on everything. She is, probably finna be charged. A lot of people were siding with her. A lot of people were going against others for saying that she shouldn't have did that. We all know that times are hard and people have to do what they have to do to get by, but there's certain things that's inexcusable in my personal opinion. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not here to argue with nobody. We all got our own thoughts and opinions, but she definitely was up in there gambling, if I have to say what I have to say. You know what I'm saying? I just can't sit there and or she could be out doing anything. She said she tried to wake the kids up at 12 for school. School starts at 8, 9, just depending on where you at. Some places might start at 10, but not at no damn 12, especially with them being that young. Now, the father, his lazy ass, he been out here with this big old girl.
Funny is it? But that's another lie she got caught on. School starts at 8. She tried to wake him up at 12. My thing is, right, why isn't the grandma being charged? Shouldn't the grandma be charged too? Because grandma allegedly was in the car when the kids died. But wait. Grandma didn't get carbon monoxide poisoning, and neither did mom. So I agree with, King with this. They was not in the car. They was in that casino gambling. That's what they was doing, gambling in that casino.
That he been, ain't no wrong being big either. Don't take it, chill out. I used to like big girls. I told you that got that back in the day, but anyway, he was with this big ass girl. They in there just taking pictures, and she knew it. That's why I said what I said about it. She knew their situation. I don't see how a lot of women out here dealing with certain dudes knowing that they're deadbeat. Now, that's a difference if you got a man that's trying to get their kids and the mothers playing games, and there's certain things that's stopping them from being in their child's life. But when you knowing what you know, and you can see shit for what it really is, why would you continue to deal with this man? With this dude, I can call him a man. Why would you continue dealing with someone like that? That just never processed with me.
So when a woman does that, do you just blame the man, or do you blame both the man and the woman? Oh shit, my camera's on. I've been eating the whole time with the camera on. I gotta turn this camera off. I thought I had it off.
I couldn't miss with no deadbeat female. And I don't see how y'all cat getting wet for these dudes here. Y'all in there throwing it across the room on these niggas and they ain't even taking care of their kids. She crazy, boy. But look, I done said enough about everything. I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and get into all of the new updates and old updates. We're gonna talk about everything in the comment section and stop being so gullible when you run across these stories. A lot of people be out here bullshitting, playing games, and they be playing on y'all emotions just to capitalize on it. And that's what she did right here, and that's all backfiring on her ass. But hey, let me know your thoughts and opinions. We're gonna talk about everything. And when she do get arrested, if she does or if she doesn't, I'm gonna bring y'all an update. Just let me know if y'all want them, and I got you. Other than that, I'll holler at y'all later.
Everybody who know me know I worship the ground and kids walk though.
The 29-year-old mother of the 2 kids.
My cousin made a mistake, and look at how the world is judging her.
The cousin of the mother who took her 5 children and their grandmother.
Maybe I asked the wrong people for help. But that was the only thing I did wrong.
Tatiana, remembering how many times she reached out for a place to live. She asked the father of the 2 kids that
he had an excuse every time. Either he's working, they can't come where he's living. He lived with a female, and the parents and them don't want kids there or something.
Her mother and 2 teenage siblings. She says she reached out to Curry, who's the father of 3 of her children.
I asked him, I said, can you get your kids for me? I said, I need help. You know I'm homeless. I done kept a room this long. I couldn't keep it no more.
They were homeless. Had Tatiana ever reached out asking to?
No, she did not. All she said was, can I get them? Can I get them just to get them? And can I get them because y'all homeless? That's 2 different things.
She said she had been homeless.
Yo, this is heartbreaking, man. Real heartbreaking. Do you hear this shit?
For 3 months.
See, I saw it.
in their 2002 Town and Country van since November. But the kids had everything else.
They ate every day, all day. Goodies, food.
To death.
She asked for help. She asked the right people. She was scared of what the world would think of her, so she did privately the right thing. She asked the city, and what they do, they told her they couldn't help her.
And the mayor and the kid's grandmother, 49-year-old Yvette Goodman, was also in the van that day. Did the van run out of gas?
I have no idea what happened. I have no idea.
Did you fall asleep?
Yes.
And then
grandmother was also in the van. Why isn't the grandma being charged?
And when you woke,
only night I fell asleep. I usually be woke.
And when you woke up, what happened?
My grandson wasn't moving.
We begin with a life-changing gift for a mother who lost her 2 children to hypothermia while living in a van earlier this month. This afternoon, her family has a new place to call home. It's all thanks to the City of Detroit and Detroit Rescue Mission Ministries. Tatiana Williams has been living in a shelter for the past few weeks. Now she and her family have a home free of charge for a year. CBS News Detroit's Gina Vici got an exclusive look at the new home and spoke to the family about this new lease on life.
What role do you believe the community and local government should play in preventing such tragedies? And how can we better support homeless families to ensure they have safe and stable living conditions? But here's my thing, right? Because she had been so scared, right, of public perception or, or what they thought of her, that she sat there and let her kids die in that car like that. And, she unalived her kids and then try to cover it up. Or she just, basically got tired but then why not, if she was going to unalive her kid, why not go with them? The grandma too. I mean, I got so many questions, right? What impact do you think the media coverage has on public perception in the legal proceedings in cases like this? And how do you feel about potential criminal charges against a mother? And what factors should be considered in determining her, how can I say, her actions? I feel as though she should be charged. So should be the grandma, and the father should be charged too, because he knew that them kids needed help, support. You could have at least kept the kids. You didn't have to be with the mom to keep the kids.
Yeah, just a few weeks ago, Tatiana Williams was living inside of her van with her children, parked here inside the Hollywood Casino parking garage. Now, thanks to the city of Detroit and the Detroit Rescue Mission, she has a new home and new opportunities in life.
I love the house. I actually like it, and I think it's wonderful.
Tatiana Williams with a reason to smile today. She and her family were gifted a new home weeks after losing her 2 children to hypothermia, 9-year-old Darnell and 2-year-old Amila. Williams says she thinks about them all the time.
It's a lot that I'm going through right now, so this means a lot. This kind of makes me happy because I was kind of sad today. I've been having a rough day all day today.
We were saddened by hearing about what happened, and we decided to put things in action, not to talk about it.
Chad Audi, the president and CEO of Detroit Rescue Mission Ministries, decided
to put things in actions and not talk about it. But I feel like King, man, if y'all knew, right, something about, y'all knew more about this case than what other people knew about, right, and what y'all led them to believe, why give her a whole house? Why give her, a house loaded with food and then free of charge for a whole year if y'all knew y'all was going to sit here and press charges on her? I feel as though that they knew more than what they was telling us. That's oh.
decided to coordinate with the city to provide the home free for 1 year and fully furnished and filled with food.
So we prepared this house that we owned as Detroit Rescue Mission Ministries. We had to fix it, prep it, furnish it, and then give them a good start so they don't have to go one day with no food or being outside at all anymore.
Deputy Mayor Malia Howard, alongside Police Commissioners Darrell Woods and Tamara Smith and Detroit Rescue Mission Ministries, gave Williams a good start by offering a blessing and a prayer once Williams got the keys to her new home.
Can we ask it in Jesus' name?
Something Williams says she is forever grateful for.
So I'm kind of happy. I might not look like it, but I am. And so I really appreciate everything everybody done for me here.
In Detroit, Gino Vici, CBS News, Detroit.
Well, new details coming to light in the heartbreaking case of 2 children inside a van in a Detroit parking garage.
The Wayne County Medical Examiner says they did not freeze like a lot of people thought. Fox 2's Jessica Dubnak explains why the official cause of is still causing concern.
Official cause of has been released as carbon monoxide toxicity. That means on the children's death certificate it will be listed as an accident. However,
let me see. Can somebody provoke a carbon monoxide accident? Can someone provoke a carbon monoxide accident? Let me see. How can someone get carbon monoxide in a car? It says when there is a blockage in the exhaust system, instead, the odorless and undetectable carbon monoxide can leak into the cabin of the vehicle. If there is no ventilation from open windows, the CO fumes can cause poisoning to occupants of the vehicle. Is it safe to sit in a running car outside? If the car is outside, then this is not a concern. You have to be in a closed space like in a garage. How is carbon monoxide most likely to leak into a car when the exhaust system is compromised? Carbon monoxide. You're telling me that she didn't know her exhaust system was compromised? Like, what, did she put something in there? Like, did they investigate that? Like, did she make this because, Carbon monoxide can seep into the cabin of the vehicle, exposing the driver and passengers to the dangerous gas. The risk is particularly high in older vehicles, those with poorly maintained exhaust system. So what kind of vehicle does she have? Does she have an old vehicle? Does she have a new vehicle? What is the most common way to get carbon monoxide poisoning? Fires, malfunctioning cooking appliances, tobacco smoke. For real? Tobacco smoke? Clogged chimney, auto exhaust or idling vehicles, malfunctioning water heater, malfunctioning oil, wood, gas, or coil furnaces, malfunctioning gas or clothes dryers. I don't know. Is there a possibility of this mother unaliving her kids along with her, and her grandma being an accomplice?
Criminal investigation is still ongoing. Until Wednesday, the theory was the Curry siblings froze to death last month in the parking garage at the Hollywood Casino in Greektown. The Wayne County Medical Examiner releasing its cause, carbon monoxide toxicity. That's all they said on the 2-year-old Amila Curry and 9-year-old Darnell Curry.
Everyone wants answers because as a community, we've lost young lives.
Attorney Todd Perkins, who's also running for Detroit mayor, weighing in on the highly publicized tragedy. We've confirmed with Wayne County Prosecutor Kim Worthy's office the criminal investigation into the children's is active and open.
Her office is going to want to come to a point where they feel very confident either saying yes or no.
The family was living out of a van during the time of their death in the care of their mother, 28-year-old Tatiana Williams. Williams' other 2 children are not in her care. By Children's Protective Services. We're told CPS is working to permanently remove them. Sources close to the investigation tell us the 9-year-old boy was covered in lice and the toddler's teeth were rotted. Both did not have proper clothing. Williams did try to reach out to the city homeless services for help over the years.
Sounds to me that she was trying to keep her family together. That's one perspective. Another person's perspective could be she should have known better. She should have fought harder to get into a shelter and all those other things.
We did reach out to Detroit police to see if they had anything to add. We're told they're leaving it up to the prosecutor. Jessica Dupnack, Fox 2 News.
So everything that I'm going to give you at this point is preliminary in nature as we continue with our investigation. So therefore, it could be subject to change, and I'll give further updates later. But the children were asleep in a car on the 9th floor of a casino parking structure, the Hollywood Casino. The mother realized that her 9-year-old son wasn't breathing. Also, previous to that, she had already called a friend, another, close relative, to help because with the vehicle not running, trying to figure out whether it was a mechanical failure, it had ran out of gas. So they were already on site in another vehicle, attempting with gasoline to get the vehicle started.
Listen, the more and more I'm listening, I think my gut is right. Like, for real, I feel as though she unalived these kids. Why? I mean, did you get so tired of life and stuff like that? Like, damn, man, I would have fought harder. I would have found a way to get a place for me and my kids. Not unalive my kids, and I'm still here grieving them. Like, man. No, that lady resembled Wendy Williams for a second.
Her son wasn't breathing. She did make a 911 call, but the friend in a Buick immediately transported the 9-year-old, put them in the car and transported them to Children's Hospital. While en route to Children's Hospital, as they checked on the other children that were in the van, and it was a total of 5 children in the van, they realized at some point that the 2-year-old wasn't breathing. And so a telephone call.
Wait. I thought it was only 2 children that she had in the van with her. It turns out she had 5 children in the van with her. See? The more and more you go into this, you find more. Oh my God. 5 children and 2 of them got deceased that night. I thought it was just 2. So is the other 3 from a different father? Or are they all 5 of these kids are from the father that they interviewed? That, apparently is a deadbeat.
Was made to the friend that was transporting the 9-year-old at Children's Hospital to return so that the 2-year-old could be picked up. Once the vehicle returned, the Buick, we have videotape where we see the whole entire family get into the Buick, and they all were transported to Children's Hospital. with that, like I said, the call came in at 12:12 from the mother. It was very limited information that was given to our 911 call taker as to the location of where everything was happening. It was just at the casino, no description of the vehicle, etc. Our call taker continuously kept the line opening, trying to identify where in the description and what was going on. A 911 call taker called the mom back numerous times, and ultimately we received a call from the hospital that they had 2 children there who were deceased. Our officers responded to the hospital. The hospital had notified us at 12:47. Our officers, like I said, responded to the hospital, and from there we continued with the investigation, talked to the mother and also talked to the grandmother, and they were able to give us the specific locations as to where the van actually was that was parked on the 9th floor at the Motor City Casino. And so we do know that on that day and time that the temperatures were below 32 degrees. And from all, talking to hospital staff, and of course, ultimately the medical examiner will determine the cause. But just on the surface right now, it appears that it was exposure to hypothermia. So at this point, I'll be around to answer additional questions, but I'll turn it over to the mayor. And
all right, so those were the previous videos, right? And the current videos, right? Me personally, I'm starting to see it a little different, right? I feel as though, she was probably trying to unalive all of them, right? She did ask for services, right, to the government and stuff like that, which they denied and refused, and they're not supposed to do that, right? I feel as though that's why they gave her this house, full of food and stuff like that. But I don't know. I feel as this in this situation, like they need to dig deeper into it. I don't think this was an accident, right? What measures can be taken to improve the city's homeless services and outreach efforts to prevent similar incidents in the future? And how can individuals and organizations get involved in supporting homeless families and advocating for their needs? I mean, a change has to be made, but at the end of the day, right?
At the end of the press,
should they go easy on this lady, right? I don't think so, and I feel as though there should be 3 charges: the father, the mother, and the grandmother for neglecting these kids. Right, these kids were found with, dirty teeth, messed up, they were all scruffy, lice in their hair, like they wasn't being taken care of. I feel as though that she left them kids there with that car with the, carbon monoxide in it. I have a feeling that they knew what they was doing, the mother and the grandmother. Why wasn't they in that car, when them kids wasn't alive? They wasn't there. They could say they was there all they want, but they had no effect. The other kids were hospitalized and everything, but the mother and the grandmother wasn't affected the same way the other kids were. But for y'all, for y'all to see the rest of this video, I left the link down below for Carlos King. Make sure y'all go check him out, right? Help him bring awareness on this case. And I'm definitely going to be staying tuned until the next update. But the link is there down below for any of y'all that, wish to catch up on this. But in this case, is this a deadbeat baby mama and a deadbeat baby daddy that, due to their neglect, unfortunately, we have 2 kids unalived today. What are y'all, what do y'all think about that? Hold on 1 second. While I, draw my daughter's right here trying to draw my attention. Give me 1 second, guys. 1 second. They don't talk about us, only when there's a crime. Would you believe me if I was to tell you that in this world, with or without money, we're all rich, even the poor? The problem is those that say that I'm reaching out to give a hand and stay there each hands is itching, ready to see you listen.
Well, I think I went to write. Something inside me told me I can freestyle or I can rap. I can go with a rhythm that can make you dance. Tell you what I see on a daily, tell you everything's okay just to avoid dilemma. Or I can simply bring you something positive to the table and warn you of the ongoing problems that we're having. Instead, I have to reach out to my conscience once again as I watch the crime and the violence rise and the kids lose their innocence. Now the concept of forming a home day by day loses its essence. They don't want to hear that. I can't keep my arms crossed in front of the system. If I don't do something, I'm also part of the problem. As guilty as the one that pulls the trigger, like the person in the crowd that hits the record button on their phone to expose a lie instead of the truth for clout. They need 1,000 views. The government doesn't have a solution. The problem started when we took God out the equation. The problem ain't us celebrating. The problem is that we're a nation divided when we should be a nation united and praying. That's how we live today. When problems occur, we come up with a meaning. Laugh a little, move on with no care in the world, as if it ain't even a thing in this world. If it's like this today, I don't want to see the future. Because nowadays, they'll make a meme out of a person that can't.
All right, my bad. So we're about to move on, right, to the angry man. And I would love to hear, I would love to hear y'all perspectives on what the angry man has to say, right? He had made this video this morning. I was watching this video while I was, cooking and cleaning and shit, right? Let me see. Here we go, Dr. Umar Johnson, right? And even though he's talking about Dr. Umar Johnson and stuff like that, right? It goes a little deeper, right? I love the way he got this conversation started and going, right? The title of his live was Dr. Umar Johnson, Deadbeat Dad or Alienated Father, my bad. Deadbeat Dad or alienated father. And I would love to ask y'all the same question. Do y'all think that Dr. Umar Johnson is a deadbeat dad or an alienated father? And I love the way, Angry Man broke this joint down, right? There was no filters in his mouth, no hairs in his tongue. He was raw and cut with this live, right? And he, listen, he was out there with his opinions and his perspectives, right? I respect him, yo. We ain't doing no commercials.
So
let's see. Is this where it starts?
of the man. Dr. Umar's a deadbeat. All of that shit, right? And see, when I look at the entire situation, right? And make no mistake about it, y'all know how I feel about Umar.
Yeah.
Y'all know I feel like he's a grifter. He be on some BS. And in my humble opinion, this situation just exemplifies the fact that no matter who you are and no matter how much you virtue signal, there's certain things that you're.
Oh shit! He just called him a grifter. A grifter is a con artist, someone who swindles people out of money through through fraud. If there's one type of person you don't want to trust, is a grifter, someone who cheats others out of money. Grifters are also known as chiselers, defrauders, gongers, scammers, swindlers, and flim-flam men. Oh snap! Well then what? Flim-flam women too? Because I know we got those. I mean, damn. Since I've been, learning about Dr. Umar Johnson, that's what everybody says about him, right? I mean, it's only but a few people that I do know that, like Dr. Umar Johnson, that are down for his cause and stuff like that. Me, I can't speak much on him. I don't know him from a can of paint, right? So that's why I cannot bash this man, right? I cannot sit here and judge him. First of all, I'm not God to sit here and judge anybody. And that's not what I came on here for. What I came on this drawing for was to bring awareness. But, it's kind of crazy that I'm sitting here. I was like, damn, that's a community activist sitting here fighting and trying to get resources for our young men and stuff like that in our communities, right? But it's like, damn, the shit they're saying about him is crazy. And it's kind of like, but let's continue. Shout out to the angry man.
Still gonna have to deal with being a man, especially a black man, that you almost can't get, you almost can't get around it, right? But just to give you my assessment of the videos that they put out, right? Her video was interesting for a couple of reasons. One, she started out the video by saying that she wasn't doing the video for the purposes of bashing Dr. Umar.
But then she goes and bashes him.
And then she proceeded to bash Dr. Umar, right? Now, she also claimed that the only reason she was doing that is because she claimed she tried to get in contact with him, but he wouldn't respond to her calls, or she wasn't able to get in contact with him, something to that effect. And she said she doesn't, she said she's 22 years old. She said that he's never been in her life. She talked about how she had a stepfather that was in her life and pretty much did everything that Umar should have did. And that, I'm not even gonna front, that right there already off the rip was a red flag. That right there already off the rip was a red flag, right? And when I say red flag, I mean a red flag in the sense that if you had a stepfather that took care of you and did all of the fatherly things that a father's supposed to do, why do you give a shit about Umar? Why do you care about what Umar got going on? To me, that really doesn't make sense to me. Like something doesn't seem right about that, right? Just seems like a red flag to me. And we'll dive a little more into that in a second, right?
I was saying the same thing, right? It was kind of strange, right? At first, I was feeling bad, right? And I was like, damn, why is everybody coming at her? I seen the video, right? And then, she ended up switching up. Then, shout out to the Word, right? I was on the Words panel, he was talking a little bit about it. Then I heard that she was on the Tommy Sotomayor podcast, right? Then after having a little conversation with the Word, big shout out to the Word, man. Gotta give him his roses, yo. I heard Kwame Brown. Kwame Brown was reacting to Sotomayor, and I'm sitting here, I was like, damn, like she was willing to get disrespected, right? By a whole man on social media, not giving a fuck, just to bash her dad and get a couple points. Now that's some clout chasing. That's the ultimate clout chasing. Like, I don't give a fuck, how can I say it? I don't give a fuck what you're going through, right? You shouldn't be airing your dirty laundry. First of all, for those of y'all wondering, she's not a little kid. She's a grown ass woman, 22 years old. You see where I'm coming from? And your dirty laundry shouldn't be aired out like that. Like, this is something that should have been handled between him and her, right? Behind the scenes, not in front of the scenes, right? So it kind of makes me feel like, okay, he's a scammer, but she's out here clout chasing. What makes it any different? Like father? I mean, yeah, like daughter, like father like daughter. Like shit.
But she claimed the only reason she was reaching out to him is because she wanted to get to know her sister, right? She said she wanted to get to know her sister. And I'm like, okay. Now, another thing she said that was a red flag to me is she was like, it doesn't make any sense to her that Umar would be out here pretending to be some sort of activist, talking about how black men need to be with black women, and you don't even want to acknowledge your black woman daughter, right?
Mm.
And then she went further and said, because you know, in the black community, we got a deadbeat problem.
Oh,
Let me
snap.
stop you right there. That was another red flag, because we don't have a deadbeat problem in the black community. That's
Talk
a
to
myth.
us.
That is propaganda. That is not real. There is no deadbeat dad problem in the black community. The problem is there are too many people running around accusing men of being deadbeats. And
boom, boom, bitches. Oh. Let me see it. Is this loud enough? Yeah, it is loud enough. Because I've been saying it. Like, I mean, does the word deadbeat baby daddies exist? Because, you know, there are really a lot of deadbeat baby daddies in communities. Or is it a word that they, you know, use to attach to a man just to make him seem, you know, real toxic, like he isn't even worth it?
they're not really deadbeats. That goes on a lot. That's the biggest problem when it comes to that shit. The problem isn't that deadbeats actually exist. The problem is when you have numerous people calling people deadbeats that's not deadbeats. And I'm not even talking about Umar. Because Umar could very well be a deadbeat. I don't know.
Facts.
But the one thing that I do know is that in his response video, he asked her and her mother to meet with him so they could have a conversation. Now, he did say that. Another thing that he said, how am I a deadbeat? And I've been paying for it since before you were born. He said, your mama didn't even give you the opportunity to come out of the womb before she started hitting him with child support, right? So I said, wow, that's interesting. And he claims he has the paperwork to prove it, right? The same way she claims, you know, she says she has the paperwork to prove that Umar is her father. I don't think that's necessary because Umar kind of admitted that he's her father. But Umar also said that he has paperwork proving that he paid child support, right? But it doesn't really matter if he paid monetary child support, because the first thing that's going to fly out of her mouth is, he didn't come to my soccer practice, and he didn't come to my cheerleading, and he didn't take me to Chuck E. Cheese, and he didn't, and all that old bullshit, right? All that bullshit.
That's some real shit, right? And with him saying everything that he said, right? How do you define the difference between a deadbeat, right, dad, and an alienated father? What are the most common factors that lead to a father being labeled as either a deadbeat or alienated?
I have a different disposition when it comes to children today. Well, not children, let me say the offspring of people, right? Because she's not a child. Hold on one second, you guys. She's trying to go out on me.
So, right, apparently, according to, you know, Dr. Umar, right, he was paying child support, right? But, you know, he wasn't allowed to be in his kid's life, according to him. So does that make him an alienated dad or a deadbeat baby father? I mean, according to the law, right, he was doing his part as a father by paying the child support. But we wasn't in their life. Could he be a deadbeat baby dad? I mean, like he said, probably. But my question is, damn, he's paying his dues, right? He's giving the government the money that they're supposed to be given to her, which apparently is supposed to be getting, you know, taken out of paycheck. Was he giving her more aside of that? I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe, maybe not. I wasn't there.
Getting ready to do is we gonna do a deep dive into this shit.
Yeah, for some more. Okay.
Because real talk, I got some questions.
Me too.
I'm gonna ask. And what's going on with the support this morning? Mogul Mays, the only person that contributed. We get ready to do a deep dive, but we got to get the support right before we do it. Because once I start cooking, I'm not going to be 100. Appreciate you. Yesterday, I attempted to do it when I was having the conversation on Izzy Band's show, and I had to leave because I had some errands I had to do. Raw G and Cellulite Podcast was up there, and they were talking about how Dr. Umar was basically a piece of shit and a deadbeat.
Oh shit!
And I don't totally agree with that.
That's the first person.
Agree with that. You feel what I'm saying?
Angry Man is the first person that I've heard say this on social media, that they don't agree that, you know, that Dr. Umar Johnson is a deadbeat and a piece of shit. Well, besides We on Lock Nation. Shout out to We on Lock Nation, yo. If y'all haven't checked them out, make sure y'all do. Great content, great conversations, great topics.
Like I don't totally agree with that. And don't worry, I'm gonna explain why.
I don't want to fast forward and he talks. But I know earlier he was fighting with whatever he had there. What did you have there? A little pip?
Deep prayers. Shout out to Patty M's. Keep up the hard work, AM. Shout out to Treese. Dive into this.
Wait.
Like I was saying before I got on.
Okay.
I have a different opinion about offspring. And it's not the same opinion I used to have, because when I was younger, I watched as people went through bullshit to be in their children's lives. Mainly men. I watched as men went through bullshit to be in their children's lives. Like I didn't live with my father 24/7. But because I didn't live with my mother 24/7, I didn't get that issue that a lot of people got, where it's like, oh, my dad didn't do this and my mom didn't do this. You know, it's certain stuff that I had an issue about when I was younger, but I grew out of that shit, right? I grew out of that shit. But you know, I watched as dudes in my age bracket fought like hell to be in their children's lives, right? I fought like hell to be in my children's life, right? And at the time, I did it because I genuinely believed that the benefits of that outweigh the downside. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. Now that I'm older, I don't I can't honestly say that the benefits outweigh the downside. The way I feel now is like when you're a father, you go through all of that bullshit, and in the end, it's like it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, he sounded
That's
like
what
Linkin Park for a second.
men are up against. Like it doesn't even matter. Like, so when I look at a situation with like Dr. Umar's, I can read that shit with my eyes closed. I don't even have to know the
What him saying what he was saying with the offspring and all that stuff, right? What are the most important, with parents with offspring, children and stuff like that, right? Their characteristics, their behavior, the way they carry themselves and stuff, right? What are the most important values parents can instill in their children and why? And how do you think parenting styles have evolved over the years? And what factors have influenced these changes? Because it's like, let me put it like this: do y'all believe that technology has a role in, our children's behavior, their emotions, the way, the reason why they lashing out, or is because of what they're going through in their families, right? You know, in their households, right? What role do you believe technology should play in a child's upbringing? How can parents balance work and family life to ensure they are present for their children, right?
particulars of the situation because it's so common. It's the song. It doesn't really matter if Umar was a deadbeat or was a good father. It doesn't matter. The outcome is always the same. Anytime, look, the only time that you have a shot in hell of your children truly respecting and admiring you is if you get with a woman.
Can you stop?
The two of you get married. You have a household. The children are born, and those children grow up in the household with their mother and you. And you and their mother have a good relationship, and those children are raised in that house until they're grown and they leave out on their own. That is the only time that you have a shot in hell of those children respecting, revering, and appreciating you as a father. That's the only time, bro.
I mean, I can agree with him to a certain extent. But I've seen, kids, actually respect and look up to their fathers, even if the father is not there. But it's crazy. That happens in relationships where parents actually do co-parent. So he makes a real strong point, though. It's crazy as hell. But the way he described it was, you have to be, in that relationship together. I'm not sure if that's how he meant it. Probably not, but that's the way I kind of took it. So maybe I'm wrong. I'm probably misunderstood. But yeah, he makes a strong point. But there are also, there's also parents out here that are not together, and they actually co-parent. They're friends. They both have relationships. They've have moved on and stuff like that, and are able to just co-parent with each other for their kids. While in the meanwhile, there is more of these type of cases where you see the parents can't seem to, co-parent at all. And sometimes I question that, like, could there be a reason why they can't co-parent? Could it be because neither one of them, were supposed to have this baby? Maybe one wanted it, the other didn't, whether it was the father that wanted it and the mother didn't, or the mother that wanted it and the father didn't. You see where I'm coming from? Right? Could a father, sometimes be absent or not there and, put his emotions on the child and the mother, right? Because he wasn't ready to have a kid or he didn't want this kid to be in the picture, but the mother, one way or another, forced him to be a father. I mean, there's so many questions, right? There's so many ways that you could look at this, right? This is like, I can't get mad about a lot of things. What I sit here and I do is I try to find a solution for it. I try to stay positive, because once I go negative, once I start staying stuck in one situation, one problem, one logic, it's kind of like I can't be close-minded, because being close-minded makes you. So I got to be open-minded and look at the different ways things could turn out, the different things that could actually happen around you or in your life, and much more. So he makes a great point on what he just said.
And sometimes even then it don't go that way. Sometimes it don't even go that way even then. Like sometimes it doesn't matter what it don't matter what you do. If you end up in a situation where you and the mother of your children are no longer in a relationship, and she got any type of animosity towards you, in most cases, them kids ain't gonna like you.
That's true.
In most cases, them kids ain't gonna like you.
Until they get older and realize the truth.
Is because the children usually take on the mother's temperament or the mother's cause. So if the mama don't like you and she think you a bum, she think you a deadbeat, she think you raggedy, she think you all of these messed up things, in most cases that's what the children are gonna think. Every once in a blue moon, you might have a child that rebels. You might have a child that be like, I don't like the way you treating my father, right? And that really depends on how badly the mother treats the child, right? Because every once in a while, you'll have that one child that's like a unicorn that will be like, no, I rock with my dad. Don't treat my dad like that. But that's few and far between. That's rare, right? And I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm sitting there watching that video. I'm watching that video of Umar's daughter. And if we being totally honest, I didn't believe a word she said. And I'm not even joking. I didn't believe a single solitary word that she said. I didn't. I didn't believe nothing she said.
Let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all believe that Umar Johnson's daughter was, using this to make her channel grow, clout chasing after her dad, right, to become bigger? Because it was crazy, is right, when she first came out, like, Angry Man said, and a lot of other people said she was looking for her sister, right? And, I kind of like, okay, damn, I can relate, because, I got online. I was searching for my father and my family, his side of the family, and going online helped me out. I came across them. And I let it go, though. But she kept going. Shit, I know there was a point in time, I used to say, I'm going to spit in my father's, face or in his grave, boom, 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 and look. I ended up finding him, but, I'm older, my feelings changed and stuff like that, but I didn't get online and bash the man. I wanted to see who he was and really was for myself. I didn't want to keep hearing the rumors. I didn't want to keep hearing the he say, she say. And since nobody wanted to give me info, I went out and I looked for it through Ancestry, through the registry, through everything. I went out, I got his info, his name, everything. I was like, all right, I'm going to find this man. But I noticed that, throughout people showing me videos, especially shout out to the word, shout out to Reunlock Nation and stuff like that. It's like, damn, okay, is this a skit? Is she running a play? Like, is she trying to gain way more than just, her father's affection and attention? Well, she wanted his attention, she got it. But is this really, is this what she wanted? What she wanted, was it really what she said in her first video, or is it that she wanted way more? Was she looking for fame? And if that's what it was, She should have just said that from the beginning. Well, who says that? Who, But at the end of the day, karma's a bitch. You see where I'm coming from? Because there was other ways to do, to get his attention than to come online and act like a fool. Now, you see what? Now, not just he looks like a fool, but you too. If I was him, I would have never responded, right? Like, but it's crazy because him responding to what she said makes it look like, But then again, I can't even say that because I wasn't even there. All I'm hearing is he say, she say. All I seen was, his response to her, right? And her little interviews that she did, especially on Tommy Sotomayor. Because when Kwame Brown reviewed and reacted to that video, I said here, like, once Tommy said the first bitch out of his mouth, I wouldn't have been on that joint. I would have left, but she kept coming up. It was crazy, right? Something that my old heads taught me. Shout out to my old heads, right? When a female does that, that's how they normally get. She's used to that. She likes that shit. When she let a man treat her and talk to her the way that Tommy Sotomayor talked to her and treated her on that stage, she used to that shit. She likes that shit. But do you blame Dr. Umar Johnson for her upbringing, or do you blame the mama for the mom for the person that raised her for her upbringing? Or do you blame the child? Because this person is 22 years old now, knows right from wrong. You see where I'm coming from? I know she's done enough research of her own to know, what's really going on. Like, she's pretending like she's naive to a lot of stuff, but yet she screams and shouts, "You beat my mama, you beat my mama." You see where I'm coming from? Like, I don't know, something's off.
I think, personally, that she's a clout-chasing opportunist that's trying her best to build a social media platform. And once she realized that she couldn't build it off of her own talent, I'm going to tell everybody that Dr. Umar is my father, and then that'll get me some attention. That's the whole reason she did it. She did it for no other reason than that. It don't go no deeper than that. You feel me? Shout out to Chicago Loso. He said, "One time for the one time, ready for the barbecue. Appreciate you." Shout out to Gungu in the building. Shout out to La Paris, said, "Supporting from the 305. Salute." Yes. To address what my man Will was saying yesterday, right? Because him and Raw G, they had more information about the Umar situation that I didn't have, right?
Oh shit, they're trying to wait. They want what? They want Trump to pardon Derek Michael Sharp. Oh shit. It looks like I might have to schedule another live and do some research on this. Should Trump pardon the officer that, allegedly, I'm gonna say allegedly, right? Unalived George Foreman.
And so they was basically saying, yeah, Umar's a piece of shit, right? And they based that off of the fact that they said when the girl was younger, right? He had to pay child support. He wanted to see the girl, but the only way the mother would allow it is supervised visits. And he basically was on some shit where it's like, okay, well, you know what? If you're going to dictate for me that the only way I can see my child is by your guidelines and your stipulations, then I just won't come around at all. I wash my hands of the whole situation.
Yo, what's crazy is, once again, I've seen men do this, right? And there are women out here that do that. Like, what's crazy, right? Sometimes I wonder, right, why some women, when they notice that some men got to get on their feet, and I'm not saying that this is their situation, it's a little off topic, right? Why is it that some women, right, when they notice that some men are on their feet, they pressure these men, right? They're like, they pressure them to the point, it's like, oh, I want the money, or you got to bring this, you got to do this, or you got to do that, or you won't see your child, right? But then they'll sit here and they'll complain, oh, I can't get this done, I can't do that. But let the father live. Listen, if he's willing to be there, right, so that you can go to work until he's on his feet and watch his child, right, because it's not babysitting. No father should be babysitting. Now, watching over their child and taking care of their child, yes, a father shouldn't be secondary. And I don't know why a lot of women are making it seem like the father should be secondary. But here's my whole thing, right? A lot of these women are telling these men, right, if they can't either have money or the father can't bring them things to, they cannot see the child. If they can't be with her and do this and do that, they can't. I mean, it's not just, one woman saying it to a father, right? It's different situations, different. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like, wait. How can you call him a deadbeat, but you're not letting him be a part of his father? You're saying, a child's life. You're saying that he don't spend no time, but you won't let him spend the time. Okay, you don't care about the money, but let him spend the time then. And there's women, I don't give a fuck about the money, but he won't spend. Well, okay, so when he does try to spend time with the child, let him spend it. Because I've seen fathers sit here fight just to spend some time, but the baby mama won't let them. Listen, I think, who is it, the rapper that's going through it right now? DDG, I think he's going through it right now, right? But he's a rapper, he's a celebrity. I don't really talk on celebrities like that unless I'm comparing the situation, which I am right now, right? Why do women do that? Like, some women won't even let the father see their kids because the father has moved on with somebody else and doesn't want to be with her. I mean, that's vice versa too. Some males do it too. And that's crazy. But it's happening. Should it happen? No, it should not happen. You can't call him a deadbeat baby daddy if you're the reason why this man cannot be in your child's life. Whether it's a boy, whether it's a girl, you cannot call a man a deadbeat if you're the reason why he cannot be a part of your child's life.
Now, I'm gonna keep it all the way funky with you. If he decided to do that, but he still paid child support monetarily, I don't see what the problem is. I don't see what the problem is. Like,
neither do I. You don't want me to be a part of this child's life. Every time I come around, it's an argument. It's some type of drama. You're either putting your hands on me to the point where I got to put my hands on you. Then the cops get involved. Men get tired of that shit. That's why I say, listen. Our kids, our men's mental health matter too sometimes. It's like sometimes women don't understand, right? I know that, our mental health matters. What we go through on a daily does matter. But do we take the time, right, in consideration that when these men are out there in these streets trying to make that money, trying to do what they got to do for us, moving around and much more, like, y'all, do we ask them how they doing? How do they feel and stuff like that? Do we cater to them the way they cater to us? And I'm talking about the good men. All right? We're not talking about deadbeats like people be calling all these men. Do the majority of you women cater to them the way they cater to you? And that's what's crazy. You cannot call him, once again, a deadbeat if you're the reason why he's not in his child's life. In this world of blame and shame, we point fingers, we play the game. But as our children cry in fear, we turn the blind eye, we shed no tears. Believe our women, they say, while our kids are led astray. Lost in darkness, lost in pain, yet their cries fall silent like the rain. It's a shame how far we've come, blaming all the men playing dumb. But our children need us near to wipe their tears and calm their fears. In this land of the free, water's a commodity for you and me. Can't you see? It's not fair, it's plain to see. People struggling to pay for something they need every day. In America where we say we're free, but water shouldn't come at a fee. A shorty just speaking in general about the things that seem so small. This ain't meant towards everyone, just a cry in the dark. In America where water is marked. Brothers and sisters, hear my plea. This is not about you or me. Our kids are the future, they hold the key. Wake up before we're met with defeat. In this world of chaos and strife, we must guide them to a better life. Teach them love, compassion, and light, so they can lead us out of this endless night. Let's unite as one strong force. For our children, let's stay on course. Together we can make a change and secure a better future in exchange. Y'all should have listened the first time they let the cat out the hat. Now it's a crime. Many are falling into a trap, thinking it's a game, but they full of cap. Some are ready and fully strapped, while others keep falling into the gap. The warning signs were clear as day, but some chose not to heed what they say. Now the consequences come to light. Those who ignored are in for a fight. Listen close and learn from this mishap. Don't be caught unaware, don't fall into the trap. From the wisdom of my elders, I learned women are strong, independent, and firm. But sometimes we need a helping hand to conquer challenges and make a stand. Independence is crucial, that's true. Yet together, with a man, we can pursue. Respect yourself first and foremost, so others will treat you like the most. Ladies growing up, remember this advice. You're capable of anything you devise. But partnership and respect go hand in hand. Embrace your strength and make a stand. Memories of the past I couldn't see, now I understand. The wisdom they gave me, respect yourself first, that's the key. To earn respect from others is how it should be. A man's worth measured by how he treats his queen. Love and romance in the air, a beautiful scene. A woman's power to uplift or demean. In her hands lies a man's dream. Lessons learned from an OG so true. In matters of the heart, they know what to do. Love and respect intertwined like glue. In a world where old-fashioned values still ring through. Peter Pan, Peter Pan, Peter Pan was a fairy tale. Now males want to be females without fail. Women want to be a man, it's a twisted tale. Flipping scripts and roles, they set sail. Fighting for roles, turning to moles. Making hits with their agenda goals. Targeting our kids, it takes a toll. To them it's a bliss, to us it's a black hole. They ain't trying to miss. Their agenda is the ultimate twist. Infiltrating young minds with their list, but we won't let them persist. I'm with women's rights, but what about men's too? Equality for all, it's long overdue. We want progress, we need to see both sides. Blame and shame won't help us unite. Don't label him a deadbeat without looking in the mirror. Sometimes it takes two to create rupture. Let's have conversations that include everyone. Empathy and understanding, the battles can be won. Men face struggles too, let's not forget. Their mental health matters, let's not neglect. It's time to break down walls and build bridges instead. Together we can strive for equality ahead. You scream for the police every time he come around. Then scream child support abuse, playing victim in this town. Enjoy that check, boo, but remember what goes up must come down. The only time he's worthy is when he bails you out the mess you found. You play the game, manipulating hearts without a doubt, but karma's knocking at your door, there's no way out. You point fingers and shift the blame around, but in the end, it's your own chaos that you found. You dance with danger, living on the edge of lies, but the truth will catch up to you, no more disguise. The man you rely on to clean up your mess is so profound, will soon see through your facade and leave you astounded. Using a child as a weapon, it's a shame. A woman who lacks self-respect, I can't acclaim. Real men fighting for what they believe in, never in vain. Standing 10 toes down, bringing awareness to the pain. Respect is earned by how you carry yourself, not by tearing others down for personal wealth. Real men don't back down, they fight with honor and stealth against injustice and falsehoods that threaten our health. Let's uplift each other instead of tearing apart, supporting one another from the start. Real men stand tall with courage in their heart, fighting for justice and truth, playing their part. Here's for the men who share their truth, never afraid to stand tall in their boots, respecting our women, fighting for what's right, supporting our kids day and night. Real women out there blazing trails, men by their side never looking pale. Rights for all, let's keep the balance true. Men have a voice, let's listen to. In this crazy world where battles are fought, let's remember the men who give it all they've got. Respect to those who speak their stories loud. Together we stand strong and proud. Together we stand, united we'll rise, setting an example for young eyes. In every step we take, in every plan, guiding the next generation's hand. Leading by actions, not just by words, teaching them to fly like birds. Showing love and respect in all we do, for they're always watching, taking cues. Hand in hand, let's pave the way for a better tomorrow, starting today. Our children learn from what they see. Let's show them how great they can be. Let's be what our children need. So once again, like, when it comes to situations like this, it's kind of hard, to give a perspective, right? When you're not in these people's lives, right? So me personally, I can't call Dr. Umar Johnson a deadbeat for the simple fact, right? By law, he did his part as a father because he was giving child support, right? By law. According to the law, he was doing his job, his part as a father, right? So what defines, right? Once again, and I think I asked it earlier, right? How do you define the difference between a deadbeat dad, right, and an alienated father? What are the most common factors that lead to a father being labeled as either a deadbeat or alienated? How can you better support fathers who feel alienated from their children due to custody disputes? What impact do you think social expectations and stereotypes have on fathers who are struggling to maintain a relationship with their children? So once again, right, none of us was there when Dr. Umar Johnson was going through whatever he was going through with his baby mom. According to his daughter, he used to beat his baby mom. So I mean, you don't even know how true that is. I think there's somebody out there that says they got the reports, and so I see them. I can't really, I can't. So let's keep hearing what Angry Man has to say, because listen, I love his perspective on this, John.
Honestly, you feel me? Because if he paid the money to take care of the child, but the only other issue was the fact that, oh, you want me to see my kid on visit or like supervised visits? Like, no, I'm not doing that. Now, I said this yesterday, and because it was on a panel, I didn't really get the chance to really deep dive into that and extrapolate. Because like I told you, I don't think the way everybody else thinks.
Mm-hmm. We unique, aren't we?
It's just the Sigma in me. Most people,
he said he is Sigma
they
now.
accept societal norms and societal rules without really questioning those rules, right? Like, I'll give you a prime example.
I'm listening.
In my mind, right? So I asked them, I was like, yo, so what was the issue? And they said, well, the mother wanted, child support, and she wanted supervised visits. The only way he could see her is if he did supervised visits, right? And they said he's a piece of shit for walking away, right? So the first thing that pops up in my mind is, who the hell is she?
Oh, okay, Angry Man.
Who is she?
He makes a point.
Who is she?
The baby mama. But you make a point.
See, nobody ever thinks about this. Nobody ever thinks about this.
Who is she? The baby mama.
Who is she supposed to be? And you probably say, well, wait a minute, Angry Man, what do you mean by that? What I mean is, it takes two to tango, right?
Mm-hmm. It sure as hell do.
And this woman had sex.
Yep. They get to do.
Right?
That's a fact, They did the shebang bang. She was like, hey, you want to meet up? She was like, yeah, for sure. She was like, I'll be right there in 1 second. Hold on, let me hop in my car. She opens up the garage, parks the car. He left his little car parked in her garage. Next day, the little stork is coming down and drops the baby on the doorstep. I mean, it was a decision they both made.
The woman got pregnant, decided to have the baby.
Mm-hmm.
So once the baby's born, why in the crispity fuck does she solitarily, unilaterally get to decide everything about the damn child?
I mean, y'all both decided to sit there, right, and get in them sheets together. The decision should be made by both. I keep saying, I'm with him on this, because I've said it before, and I've said it time after time. If you watched my lives before, if you've been following me from the beginning, I have not changed my perspective on this, right? I know, I get it. Our body, our choice. But we decided to sit here and lay in bed with these men that we've had babies with. We knew what we was getting into when we sat here and we, let them stick in us, and we get pregnant after that. We knew what we was getting into. See, the problem with us is, right, some of us females, and I'm not saying all, but if the shoe fucking fits, wear that bitch. And if it doesn't, let that shit apply. I mean, let it fly, my bad. Apply, shit, I should have applied to everybody. No, wait, no. But anyways, right, let that shit fly. But here's my thing, why shouldn't the man make a decision? Why can't he have a say-so on this? If you want to sit here and have this baby knowing that he didn't want to have the baby or he wasn't ready, then you should, how can I say? Because listen, when they're not ready and they don't want it, what makes you think they're going to be good fathers? What makes you think they're going to be there or even want to be there? They're not. Right from the gate. Right from the gate, the flags was there. But you ain't give a fuck because that one moment of pleasure is what you wanted too. That one moment of pleasure took everything. Just that one moment of pleasure, the heat, the temptation. But then when the child is here, everything is different. I hear so many. Listen, I know of a chick, right, that sat here, right, and she wanted to have sex, right? She didn't care who she got pregnant by, right? She just wanted to have a baby. And listen, if she knew who the baby daddy was, she wasn't going to tell the world, right? Yo, when she found out she was pregnant, first thing she did was, knowing that she was with multiple people, but apparently to this person she was with just one, told this person that, she's pregnant. He's like, oh, snap. He's like, boom, gave her money. He didn't want this baby. But then she took the money. No, she didn't take the money. I think what was it? She was going to think about it, I think it was. Then she decided to keep the baby, right? She didn't want to have the abortion, But my thing is, neither one of them was in agreement, right? Neither one of them was in the same page. Neither one of them was on the same terms. But because they sat here and, was together for one night, he went on and signed the birth certificate and everything. Like I'm saying here, like, if you didn't think that you was the father, you shouldn't have signed it no matter what, regardless of anything. And that's where a lot of men fail. If you don't think that you're a father to this child, you don't sign that birth certificate. You see where I'm coming from? And a lot of men do fail in that department. But my thing is, right, there should be a decision made by both parties. That's why I understand certain people when they say, yo, you shouldn't have a child. This child wasn't meant to be here. This child was not meant to be here. When neither party wants this baby. I'm not going to say neither party. When one party wants the baby and the other one doesn't, you see where I'm coming from? It means the child wasn't really meant to be here. If both parties want this baby, then you can really sit here and say, yo, that child was meant to be here. But the red flags are there and people don't pay attention to it. And us women should take accountability in the fact that sometimes we're wrong in the decisions we make when we pick these men. We got to take accountability. We fucked up. But some women can't do that.
So once the child is born, why does the mother get to dictate the terms of how the father interacts with the child? Why does she get to tell him, well, you're going to pay child support and the only time you're going to see her is based on supervised visits. Otherwise, you can't see her. Like, who gives her that power? What gives her that authority? What gives her that power? And I'm not talking about the state. We already know how the state play. We already know how that go. I'm not talking about that. The state really don't want the father to really play a role in that anyway, because if black fathers don't play a role in that, then guess what? They'll produce more little girls that will end up being dependent on welfare, that can also be manipulated into being Democrats and all of that bullshit. The boys will grow up to get in trouble and go to prison and continue to feed the prison industrial machine. So we already know We already know the court don't want the father really playing no real role. Like, this is a reality. Okay, so I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is culturally, as a group of people, who decided that the mother had more say-so over the child than the father? Who decided that shit?
I don't know. I can honestly say somebody here in America, because when you hear about other countries, the father has a say-so, or, the father is the one that really leaves the house and shit like that. Listen, man, in other countries, the men are the ones that pay for dinner, and I don't know if it's 100. It should be 100, but I don't know. I think somebody in America came up with that.
Now, some of y'all are going to say, well, come on, angry man. It's because she's the mama. The mama gets to say so because the baby stayed with the mama. Then she need to take care of the motherfucking baby. If she get to unilaterally decide everything for that child, her ass need to take care of that child. Singularly.
See, women, we should not throw equal rights at everything, because a man could turn around and hit you and bully you on you.
Point blank, period. And I don't want to hear nothing about, but a man's supposed to take care of his responsibility,
So
and a man's supposed to my ass. Women's supposed to cook and clean. They don't do it.
Be telling y'all women be quiet sometimes. See what happens?
Women's supposed to submit to their husbands. They don't do it. There's a lot of shit women are supposed to do that they have opted out of. They have.
Coach D, aka the Word. I think your spirit is inside Angry Man right now, real quick. Man, come get your soul back.
Simply decided we're not going to do it anymore. But you're still letting these women run around here and convince you that you got mandatory duty to do shit. Because I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm to the point now where I'm at the age where I look at it like this. This is the way I look at it.
How you look at it? Tell me.
Not only if a dude gets a woman pregnant and he doesn't want to take care of that child, he should have every right to walk the fuck away from that child. He should have every right to walk away and not pay no money, not do nothing. He should have every right to just walk smooth the fuck away.
Oh, you ain't wrong, but we're in 2025, and for some reason, women are using these kids as tools more and more, to the point where we believe caskets no bigger than 3 feet laying on the ground. Believe all women, they say, huh?
Every right.
I agree with you on that part, Angry Man.
He should just be able to walk the fuck away. Just wash his hands of the whole situation.
Or
if he gets the woman pregnant, and then the moment the baby's born, she starts telling him how it's gonna be. Well, you're gonna do this and you're gonna do that. And the only way you're gonna see this child is if it's supervised visit. You should be able to walk away from that shit too.
Why?
He should be able to say, oh no, no. We're not doing this. You're not gonna dictate for me how I interact with my fucking child. I don't get to dictate to you how you interact with that child.
He makes a great point again.
You could be a father that's in that child's life. You could be a father that pays child support, all of that shit. You don't get no say-so over how that child is raised. Probably wouldn't even respond. I'm old school.
So, with him saying that, right? How many of y'all, let me say not believe, right? Do y'all think that somewhere in the future, the fathers are going to have the same rights as the mothers when it comes to the kids and the same say-so? Because if it is, listen, when it comes to parenting, it should be 100. I'm not saying that the parents should be in a relationship. Y'all went and had this child together, right? And now y'all can't be together for whatever the reason is. Y'all should be able to co-parent. And co-parent, it takes both of y'all. It's going to take 100% of her, and it's going to take 100% of him to try to get this kid or these kids in order, right? To get them in shape, to get them, educated, to get them respectful, to get, instill some morals, some respect into them. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm tripping on, what I'm saying, right? How can parents encourage their children to develop a strong sense of independence and self-confidence? What are effective strategies for resolving conflicts between parents and their children? And this is what's crazy. This is what's happening between Umar Johnson and his child. Because even though she's a grown-ass woman, right? Even though she's 22 years old, that's still one of his kids. Whether he's mad at the situation that's going on, however he wants to respond back, right? This is still his seed. The seed that he planted in, her mother's womb. This is her fruit of the looms. Right? What are some ways that parents can foster open and honest communication with their children? And this is something that Umar Johnson and his 22-year-old daughter have to work on.
And when I say old school, I don't mean old school like 70s. I don't mean old school like 60s. I don't mean old school like 50s. I mean old school like ancient days. That's old school I'm talking about. I'm talking about old school to the point where if you have sons that don't respect you, they ain't shit. If you got daughters that don't respect you, they ain't shit. We live in this day and age where we have convinced the damn world that all the work is on the parent to make sure that the child is straight. And by doing that, we actually take away accountability and responsibility from the child. There used to be a time where children grew up wanting to make their parents proud. There used to be a time where a boy wanted to make his father proud. There used to be a time where a daughter wanted to make her father proud.
That's true. But see, once again, that'll lead to that question I was asking everybody earlier, right? Let me see. Damn, I should have. I could have sworn I wrote the question mark. Okay, here we go. What role do you believe technology should play in a child's upbringing?
Nowadays, they don't want to make you proud. They want to use you as the excuse for why they're fucked up in their head. That's what they want to do. That's what they want to do.
But here's my thing, angry man, and to anybody else watching the live, right? Is it, I mean, I get it that at one point kids got to take responsibility, right? But isn't that something that a parent teaches their kid, how to take accountability, responsibility? So, in Umar Johnson's situation with his daughter, right? Umar didn't raise his daughter, the mother did, so that the mother lacked in teaching and instilling some type of responsibility in her child, in her daughter. Am I wrong? What are the most important values parents can instill in their children and why? Can anybody answer that question? How do you think parenting styles have evolved over the years, and what factors have influenced these changes? What role do you believe? My bad, I already asked you that question. How can parents balance work and family life to ensure they are present for their children? These are questions that I wrote down that I wanted to ask you. Like, what are some effective strategies for resolving conflicts between parents and their children?
They want to blame you for all their shortcomings. And that's why you see somebody like, you know, and look, I'm going to tell you the truth. Umar handled it better than me. Handled it way better than me.
Some of us wouldn't responded, but Umar responded. I said that the last time.
I probably wouldn't even respond.
Ain't no probably. Some of us just won't respond.
I'd have kept on living my life. I do an interview. Somebody asked me some shit about, yo, so what about the situation with, I look them straight in the face. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm dead.
I don't know what you're talking about. If you're talking about that specific situation, I paid.
It's live. This is my last video. I don't know where it's gonna be live though, but I know I'm about to end this live. Yo, man, if y'all have not checked out Angry Man, make sure y'all subscribe to him. Check him out. Oh, I didn't subscribe to him. What the fuck am I doing? I'm tripping. I should have been did that. Hold on 1 second. Let me leave this link down below. Right? I ain't gonna let him talk, right? But listen, man, I'm about to check to see if Word's gonna go live or not, because I do know this is gonna be my last video. We're gonna play this a little longer, right? Because yo, like, boy, he's on point with a lot of shit, and he makes some great points, right? Some great talking points at that. And it's true what he's saying, because do y'all feel as though that women get away with more things than men do? Be honest. For anybody that catches the replay, man, leave your comment down below and let's get this conversation going.
I met my obligation according to the state. I met my obligation according to the state. Point blank, period. Well, what about spending time? Spend time for what? I'm not spending time with somebody that's going to constantly give me their ass to kiss. What the hell is wrong with you? Relationships are a two-way street. Relationships are a two-way street. When it comes to relationships, no matter what type of relationship it is, there's never supposed to be
nice, baby.
one side doing all the work.
I just did.
That shit has to be mutual. And what you have to realize about Umar's daughter, she's not reaching out to him because she genuinely wants to have a relationship with him. She wants to fuck up what he has going on. That's all that is. That is not a child at this point. That is a demon, is what that is. That is the spirit of vengeance, is what that is. She is not trying to reach out to him because she genuinely wants to have a relationship.
That's what it looks like.
Fuck up his life.
Yeah,
that's what she wants to do.
Real shit. I mean, isn't that considered revenge though, Angry Man? That's considered revenge, but her doing it like that, man, she's gonna get a real hefty karma, because his was gonna come regardless of anything. Because listen, she didn't have to try to ruin his life like that, because from what I'm hearing, right, people was already coming at him, right? I mean, he called him a grifter earlier, which means, right, apparently a scammer, right? Somebody that swindles people out their money, right? So, I mean, if he's known for that, you know, karma some way, somehow was going to come in him, right? Regardless of anything. So her doing what she was doing, I mean, she didn't just expose herself, right? Trying to expose her dad for what was already out there. I mean, I don't know. People just don't have nothing better to do nowadays, for real, for real. Like, all this for clout. I mean, is they both doing shit for clout? Once again, like, you know, like daughter, like father, like daughter. But all this, like, on some real shit, could it be her acting off her emotions, right? Trying to get some revenge. But acting like fool online isn't going to make him look bad. If anything, it's going to make her look some type of way, right? And yeah, it's going to make his situation, you know, a little more fucked up. But that shit, I think after a while, that shit's going to fade from people's minds. From time to time, it might come back. But shit, there's no point. Like I said, this should have been resolved offline. It shouldn't have been brought to social media at all. But what's done is done.
Just like Brian McKnight's kids want to fuck up his life.
Oh shit. Wait, Brian McKnight kids want to fuck up his
Just
life?
like
Damn.
50 Cent's son want to fuck
Oh, we don't
up
know
his
about
life.
that.
Like we could go down the list.
At what age should we start holding kids responsible for their actions? At what age should kids start taking accountability for their actions? And is that something that parents should instill in them? Right? Taking accountability and responsibility for your actions, is that some type of moral honesty or loyalty? You see where I'm coming from? Is that something that a parent should install in you? A behavior that a parent should install? I don't know which way to ask it or how to ask it. I'm hoping people understand where I'm going with it.
We go down the list. And see, somebody like me, people can get mad at me if they want, but somebody like me, I don't have no patience for that type of shit. I don't have no patience for that type of shit. If I ever have disagreements with my children, you know what I tell them?
Fuck them.
I tell my kids flat out on some real shit. I'll be like, you'll need me before I need you.
Real shit. And that's what's crazy, right? After a certain age, kids don't realize, right? And that's why I said, is there something that parents ain't instilled on their kids, at a certain age that, once a certain kids reach a certain age, right, they don't seem to understand. Yo, listen, you keep doing this and you keep doing that, you ain't messing up my life, you're messing up yours. You may be holding me back for a second, but I can pick myself up. You see where I'm coming from? And before I even need you, son or daughter, you're going to need me. And that's how it always is, unless, the parent is deadbeats and, the kids get older. Then the parents depend on the kids, which I really don't ever see. That's a rare situation.
That's real. I tell them little Negroes quick as hell, you need me before I need you.
Oh, wait. Sorry, I was typing.
Before I need you. Need that shit. Wait, go. There's no look. Let me tell you something. Let me explain something to every last one of you Negroes in here. If you black and you from the hood and you got an ex that is now considered quote unquote your baby mama, let me explain something to you.
Quote unquote your baby mama.
When it comes to that situation, there is no light at the end of the tunnel.
Real shit.
Okay? There is no nobility to any of that shit you're doing. Let me tell you something. The shit that you think you're doing, that you think is righteous, you feel me? I'm gonna be there and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do all that shit that you think you doing. Let me tell you something. It's only righteous in your brain. It's only noble in your mind. That's the only place it's noble, because guess what? Everybody else on the outside are going to look at you like that's what you're supposed to do anyway. So anything that you think you're doing where you think you're going above and beyond, that's not the way everybody else looks at that shit. Hell, if anything, they probably looking at you like you ain't doing enough.
Angry man, the problem with a lot of these people is, right, their heads is filled up with air. So can we call them airheads?
That's real. You could, man, you could be feeling like you climbing Mount Everest. You could feel like you moving heaven and earth to make sure
Sophisticated
that
ass
kid or those
mofos,
children
right?
have what they need. And guess what? That mama is gonna look at you like that shit ain't shit. And the reason why is because you're not doing something for her. What you got to realize about a baby mama is she don't give a fuck what you do for them kids. The only reason she complain about what you don't do for them kids is because that's a way for her to make you look bad. She doesn't give a damn what you do for them kids.
Say it again.
What she's mad about is you not taking care of her lazy ass. That's what she's mad about. What she's mad about is she can't use you anymore for her freaking to subsidize her damn life. That's what the problem is. That's what the problem is. Because the funny thing about it is,
he's describing the majority of the baby mamas in the hood.
While you with her, she could be the most non-problematic chick you ever met. The moment y'all had kids and y'all not together no more, now all of a sudden she turned into a whole different Negro.
Real shit.
Different Negro. And it's
she transforms.
It's
Transformer.
simple. She now has to sit back and watch as you utilize your income to take care of them kids instead of utilizing the income to take care of her. And you know how I know this to be true? You know how I know this to be
You've
facts?
seen some of them like
because
that.
Guess what? If you were in the relationship with her after the kids were born, in other words, your kids were born, y'all were still in a relationship for a while before it ended, right? Which means that you lived in a household with her and your children, right? She's nowhere near as demanding when it comes to your children when you're in a relationship with her.
Until y'all in that relationship, now the
She's
kids need
nowhere
name brand
near as
clothes.
demanding.
Everything that the
Nowhere
kids need
near.
is expensive.
Nowhere near. All of the shit she expects you to do when you're no longer with her, half that shit she only expects you to do it when y'all together. When you're separate from her, the kids need Jordans and expensive clothes and they need this and they need that, right? But when y'all are together, they don't need them Jordans.
Some of these females can't accept the fact that, listen, once the relationship is over, it's over, right? Some of these females don't seem to understand that, you know, when y'all not together, y'all just got a co-parent, right? And his only obligation is to take care of the child that he had with you. Y'all are no longer together, right? And even if y'all wasn't together, right, and y'all had this kid, right, whether it was a mistake or one night, however you want to call that shit, right? Your only obligation is to co-parent and take care of these kids, right? He does not, listen, he is not obligated. When y'all are not together, he is not obligated to buy for his kids and you too. He is not obligated to get stuff, you know, give you money for his kids and pay your bills and your rent. It don't go like that. That's why I ask a lot of females, and some of them get mad. But listen, y'all ask me my opinion and y'all ask me questions, and when I give my opinion, why do you get mad? I'm not mad. I'm just asking a logical question, right? What would you do, right? Once, you know, if push come to shove, right? This father wasn't obligated to pay child support. You see where I'm coming from? And then you out of nowhere don't have no, how can I say, no public assistance, right? Or any type of support. Because you got some fathers that is crazy, knowing that the baby mama is on, you know, public assistance, right? Knowing that they're getting child support pulled out their check, right? Some baby daddies go out to the extreme and still give their baby mamas cash on the side or go buy their kids extra stuff. Hey, you know, listen, kudos to them. Like, I give them a big shout out because they're doing more than, you know, some guys do. Some guys don't do shit. They don't give their kids time, and they don't give their kids no type of money, no type of shit. You see where I'm coming from? And those are the ones that get put on the pedestals, the funny part. Because you see these females out here with these deadbeat, as they call them, right? But got another man, right, saying here, oh, they had a baby with this one's going good over there in another relationship, but she just had a baby with this one over here. He's a whole deadbeat. But she wants this one over here to pay for the baby she just had with this one, right? And the baby she just previously had with him. I mean, that's why I said we can go so many ways in these conversations, right? And I understand why people get mad. But at the end of the day, listen, man, you have to take accountability as a woman. You decided to lay in bed knowing that he was a deadbeat. So whose fault is it? Both of y'all's. I just can't sit here and pinpoint the blame on the man only. Why? Because he's not just to blame, she is too. We have to make that better decisions. We have to pick, these men better and more wisely when we decide to, share a pillow with them, decide to sit here and share bodily fluids with them. But some women don't do that, don't want to do that.
Them shoes cost too much. They don't need this. They don't need that. And there's a very simple reason for that. Because when you're with her, the money that you spend on them kids is taken away from the money you giving her when you're in a relationship. So why would she sit back and watch you go buy Jordans when you can buy some shoes that's less expensive, and then that's more money that can go towards whatever she wants? Now, when you're no longer together, yeah, she's going to demand that you spend money for Jordans and expensive clothes, because she's looking at it like, well, if I can't get the money, I'm going to make sure you spend as much of it as possible so that you ain't spending it on another bitch. That's her thought process.
Some females do really think like that.
It
It's
has
crazy.
nothing to do with the children.
Damn, what is you, a wizard or a warlock? What you out here reading people's? You Professor X. You out here infiltrating the women's minds and discovering secrets. You should not know, angry man. What you out here being Mega Man? Let me find out.
Absolutely nothing to do with the children. If you're not with her, no, you're not going to buy the shoes that aren't that expensive, because that's going to leave more money in your pocket to do what you want to do for you and keep you happy, or to do for the new chick that you're in a relationship with. No, she wants you to spend every last dime.
Be careful. Be careful, angry man.
She wants you to spend every last dime until you're down to the point where you just have enough to sustain life, just enough to keep you going so you can make more money.
Yo, angry man, you out here spilling the sauce. You're going to be having these women mad at you like it was mad at Steve Harvey. I mean, no, the men was mad at Steve Harvey for spilling the sauce at one point, yo.
But if you're with her, she don't want you spending all that money on them kids. If you're with her, why you buying them more toys? They don't need no more toys.
Give it to her so she can go to the nail salon or with her friends on the weekend. He funny. He gonna take a sip of his cup.
Does that make sense?
It makes plenty of sense. But I'm telling you right now, a lot of these females are about to be mad at you for saying all this. Why you do that? Could have muted the mic for a second.
Because that's all it is. That entire situation has absolutely nothing to do with the children, but has everything to do with trying to use the children as leverage to try to make your life miserable.
You know what's crazy? Now that I'm thinking about it, do y'all believe that the mom is using the 22-year-old daughter to get revenge at the father? Don't it seem kind of like the mom is like, the mom is coming out sometimes in the way the daughter is talking? It's kind of like the mom is the one talking, but the daughter is the one saying the words. I used to beat on my mama. I used to beat on my... What was the mom telling the daughter when, as the child was growing up? Because if Dr. Umar Johnson wasn't there, right? Never once was there, never, seen her or touched her. So, I mean, he paid visits, okay, so I'm wrong. In the beginning, he was kind of there. He used to, I guess, see her or shit like that. But what, he used to beat her in front of his daughter? Or is it a story that her mom told her and now the daughter is repeating? See, you got to be careful sometimes. That's why you got to listen.
Or to try to get as much money as she can out of you. And you want to know how I know that? Because guess what? When that kid turns 18 years old, you won't hear a peep out of her. Once that leverage is gone, you won't hear.
See, that kind of makes sense, yo. See, now is the mom, is the daughter speaking for the mom? Is the mom behind this shit right now? Because people, like he said, when the child does turn 18 years old, there's no more child support. Pete, the daughter was 18 2 years ago. Now, 2 years after the daughter turns 18, the daughter comes out at saying, it's not all allegedly, because she did come out. So apparently she comes out on social media asking for, saying that her father's ignoring her. She wants to get in contact with her sister, right? But she's saying there's only 2 sisters, but apparently there's records of there being she has more than just one sibling, the one that she was looking for. And I think she knew that. So, I mean, and then, she gets up, she starts saying that, Umar used to beat her mom and stuff like that. Then, the Tommy Sotomayor, the interview with her and Tommy Sotomayor, it's like she was up on that John, right? Just taking the disrespect. Either she's seen her mama get disrespected, right? Or she's used to men disrespecting her like that. Or she's seen her mom get disrespected, right? And then she got used to it and let men do it to her. And since Umar wasn't, a part of her life, it's kind of like, crazy part is we don't even know if he's a good father or a bad father. We're not in his life, in his kid's life, and we're only hearing from one child, one of his kids, not multiple kids, right? Because apparently he's got, 3, 4 kids? We're only hearing from one of his kids. But people he just said about the child support, it ends, right? And that's true, though. That's what I'm saying. He's been making so many great talking points. Like, damn. It gets you to think. This is way more than just clout chasing.
Hear a peep out of her. It's almost like she never existed. Tell you something else too. If there ever comes a time, let's say that your children become teenagers, right? And then she hits you with the, well, if it's boys, she hits you with the, well, I can't teach him how to be a man. Or if it's a girl, she hits you with the, well, it's starting to get expensive or whatever. Like, she'll come up with some kind of excuse. The closer that child gets to 18 years old, she'll come up with some kind of excuse. And see, the reason why she does that is because in her mind, she doesn't know if that child is going to be able to leave the house once they turn 18. Because see, once they turn 18, she don't want them in the house because now that child is no longer beneficial to her.
Like this.
She can't make money off that child anymore. You feel what I'm saying? So what she'll do is when they turn like 14, 15, she'll push them off on you. She'll come up with some reason for them to.
Yo, it's my first time hearing about this like this, but what's crazy is I've seen women do that. Right? I understand why some women do it with their sons, but what's crazy is now him breaking it down like this. I have seen some women actually push their kids off, whether it's boys or girls, off to their father, right? Once the kid hits a certain age. Now, if the mom and the father are not together, right? and the father is, I mean, how can I say, the son at a certain age wants to go with the father, or she thinks is, more appropriate for her, and that's understandable. I've seen some women do that. Like, it's time for the father to start teaching him, getting him into that manhood, right? But he's making a good point, because I've actually seen some women do both. Just ship their kids over for no reason. Like, their kids wasn't even being bad. They just reach a certain age, and now, boom, they're shipped off to their dad or their grandparents.
To come stay with you. Now, here's the interesting thing about it. Once they come stay with you, once they're living under your roof, oh, now she's the most cooperative motherfucker you ever seen in your life. Once they start staying under your roof, oh my God, now she's just friendly as possible, nice as hell. Like, it's almost like that ain't even the same person. And it's so funny because it's so funny. It's so funny because it's so obvious.
Blessings, Mel Dub. How you doing? Welcome to the live. Mel Dub, baby. Guys, make sure y'all go check out Mel Dub. Great conversations, great topics, yo. Let me see. I think he's got a wrench, but I'm going to leave his link down below.
It's so freaking obvious, bro. Like, it's so obvious. Like, you can sit back and you look, because all it is, these women, all they do is play a bunch of fucking games. All they do is play a bunch of games.
That's a fact.
They're childish games that they play.
Real shit.
And they try to pretend they try to pretend that they do all of that shit for some just reason or some. They're just like the Democrats. You know how the Democrats will set up all of these foundations or whatever. And what they do is they'll hide their nefarious activities behind some noble cause. So they.
Yo, he just compared them to he just compared their situation to politics. Republicans versus Democrats. Yo, they're always at a battle. It's me versus you. Fuck you. Fuck them. Yo.
They might have, we gotta feed the children in Africa, right? That's the bullshit they really do. You feel what I'm saying? And it's the same thing that women do. What they do is they sit back and they say, hey, I need money for the kids, and I gotta take care of these kids, and I always got these kids, and it's hard being a mother. The wall. She's sitting there watching TV, fucking tuning them damn kids out. She ain't even.
Wait a minute, he said be a fly on the wall. Let me get my squatter so we can squat that bitch.
Pay no attention to them kids. If it's summertime, she make them go outside and play so they don't get on her nerves. She's sitting there and watch fucking TV. If they can't go outside and play, they in the house. She done figured out a way to tune them out. So they run around the house acting buck ass wild.
I'm gonna
she
kick your
ain't
butt.
Paying attention to them damn kids.
Listen, there's a lot of women that do that, right? If Dr. Umar Johnson, right, is a deadbeat because he wasn't a part of his child's life, but he was paying child support, right? What's crazy is according to the law, right? According to the law, he was doing his job as a father, his part as a father. The mom didn't want him to be there, right? She wanted the visits to be supervised. Not a lot of men is going to go for that shit. If that's my child, why should our visits should be unsupervised? Whatever problems you and the mom was going through was you and the mom, right? Now, if, the mom felt uncomfortable with him, she shouldn't have been there. You see where I'm coming from? Well, he could see his child at his house. I don't want him at my house. I feel uncomfortable with him around me. But if he wasn't a danger to his child, let him see his child. Why come sit here and put all these demands, all these, expectations? What's crazy is, right, if the scripts were flipped, right, and not even that. What's crazy is we expect these men to do half the shit that we're not willing to sit here and do for them. I don't know if I'm the only woman that sits here and says this or thinks like this, But look, just because I'm a woman doesn't mean it's believe all women. Just because I'm a woman doesn't mean that I'm going to sit here and team up with other women just to hurt one man. Just because I'm a woman doesn't mean that I'm going to sit here and team up with other women to lie on men. You see where I'm coming from? Sit here and bash men just because one man made me feel some type of way. And that's what's crazy, that we live in an era where a lot of women are coming together just because of that one word, revenge. They want to take karma into their own hands, right? And not seeming to understand that not every man is the same. So it's kind of messed up, yo. Really, really messed up. We can worry about women's mental health, right? But we can't worry about men's mental health. And I'm not taking Dr. Umar Johnson's side, right? I don't know that man from a can of paint. But we're going to sit here today, and what we have been doing today, right, is sitting here cutting this shit down the middle, right? One thing you cannot cut down the middle is, right is right and wrong is wrong. That's the only thing you cannot cut down the middle. If something is right, it's right. If something is wrong, it's wrong. But you cannot sit here and call somebody a deadbeat, right? When at the end of the day, you haven't even looked at the mirror. Like I asked earlier, and I'm going to keep asking it over and over again, right? Because, Angry Man's title is Dr. Umar Johnson and a deadbeat dad, right? Or a deadbeat father or an alienated father, right? So I ask everybody, right? How do you define the difference between a deadbeat dad and an alienated father, right? What are the most common factors that lead to a father being labeled as either a deadbeat or an alienated father? Right? And then when it comes to that, right? How can we better support fathers who feel alienated, right, from their children due to custody disputes? Am I asking the right questions? Or am I, stepping overboard as I'm told, right? Because we got to let the men handle men situations and the women handle women situations. But shit, look at this situation, right? They say is, us women, right, is, they got this thing, right? Our body, right? Our choice. But let me ask y'all this question, right? As women, do we take the time, right? And listen, like I tell people, right? Listen. I'm just speaking, right? This isn't for anybody. I'm just speaking in general, right? If the shoe fits, wear that bitch. And if it doesn't, right, apply, let it fly. For real. Because at the end of the day, right, it takes two, like he said earlier, to tangle, right? And in a lot of situations, right, a lot of fathers don't want to have a baby or are not ready to have a baby. The same way that you mothers are out here rushing to sit here and jump in the sack with a man, not realizing that, hey, sometimes, you don't use protection, you get knocked the fuck up and boom, boom, boom. Here comes the stork with the little baby, leaving it at your doorstep. Like, come on, man. Sometimes I don't know what logic is to certain people. But you decided to lay your head in this fucking pillow with this man, knowing what this man was into. Sometimes you may not know, but when you do find out, you still lay your head with him a second time and still get knocked up. You see where I'm coming from? It's like, y'all know what they about. Yeah, so when you get with them, if they're, lazy, don't want to work, if they're drug dealers, if they're, how can I say, they still living in their mama's couch, sucking off her nipples, drinking milk all day. Like, y'all fucking know. We know as fucking women what the fuck we getting into, right? I mean, unless you're not seeing or focusing and you can't see the red flags, but damn, if they're red flags, they gotta be obvious. They gotta be as bright as the damn sunlight is when it's bright outside. Maybe I'm wrong. But I'm only asking but logical questions, right? What impact do What impact do you think societal expectations and stereotypes have on fathers who are struggling to maintain a relationship with their children? Once again, right, a woman that's sitting here, right, how can I say, depending, right, on supplemental income, right, and child support, have no room to speak. Women sit here using their kids as tools have no room to speak. How can some women sit here and call a man a deadbeat baby dad, right? Without looking into the fucking mirror. And I cannot sit here and deny the fact that there are deadbeat baby dads. But see, those, for me, I consider are the type of men, right, that are never in their kids' lives. They don't give them no money, right? They're not there. They're not, how can I say, supporting them. They don't go to a baseball game. They don't call them to say hi. Nothing. They're not there. They're not there. A fatherless child. You see where I'm coming from? Even though the father's around walking somewhere doing some shit. But when a father sit here paying child support and the mother doesn't want him to be a part of his life, their child's life, that's on her. Don't call him a deadbeat baby dad without looking into the motherfucking mirror. How do you define the difference between a deadbeat dad and an alienated father? It's my fucking question to a lot of people. And I'm sorry I'm cussing, but this shit is getting crazy. Okay, I get it. Y'all hate the man, right? Y'all hate the man because, right, according to people, man, I've only learned about Dr. Umar Johnson within the last 4 years. I don't know this man from a can of paint. Do I want to get into his personal life? No. Why am I reacting to this, right? Because it's out there. It's out there. The dirty laundry has been aired between him and his daughter, right? So I'm gonna compare this situation to a real life situation like we've been doing today. So shout out to the angry man for breaking this shit down, right? Because I know I'm not the only one that's tripping. And then what's crazy is some people are out here trying to give advice, trying to say this and trying to say that. Have y'all taken a minute, a step back? Have you analyzed what your life is like? How would you feel if one day your fucking life gets aired out and you have to sit here and, figure a way like, damn, how do I explain this when I've been saying this? Right? What role, right? Let me ask y'all, what role do the legal system and family courts play in shaping the outcomes for father and custody battles? And how can co-parenting strategies be improved to prevent one parent from feeling alienated? And which is happening. Look at the case between DDG and Haley, the Little Mermaid, right? Didn't she just call him a secondary parent? Oh, so basically this man is only good for babysitting. Some men don't want to hear that shit. Some men want to be a part of their fucking kids' lives. You got the money, you got this. So why the fuck can't this man sit here and spend time with their fucking kids? Oh, because he's not with you. He's with somebody else. He's moved on. He's forgotten about you, but still want to be a part of his kid's life. Some females ain't shit. And I'm not speaking on everybody. I'm just speaking on general. So once again, right? If the shoe fits, wear that bitch. I know you feel some type of way because, the way you're talking. But if it doesn't apply, man, let that shit fly. Because there's some great ass women out here walking these fucking trenches, yo. But some women ain't shit. They nothing but Lilith in disguise. Let's be real about that shit. Blessings, we on lock. Blessings
to the outside world.
He was in there, my bad.
She tried to make it seem like she's super mom. She tried to make it seem like she's super mom. Like, fuck out of here.
Go ahead, crazy. Man, once again, hearing and listening to everything, right, when it comes to Umar Johnson's daughter, I feel like the mom is talking. Like, this is not so much the daughter, but it's more the mom. You see where I'm coming from? Let me ask y'all this question, right? Can parents have a big influence in a kid's life, especially if you're the, main parent raising this kid? Oh, and guys, make sure y'all go check out We Unlock Nation. Great conversations, great topic show. And he also covers a lot on Dr. Umar Johnson.
And you have absolutely no idea how glad I am that I don't have to deal with that shit no more. You have absolutely no earthly idea how glad I am that I don't have to deal with that shit no more. Trust and believe. Shout out to Thomas. He said, "So sad but true. Keep preaching, AM." And that's why at the end of the day, Aaron said, Fraud Against Men Act regards marriage, divorce, revoked domestics, immigration, spouses, or
They got that?
kids, all of it. Keep the Violence Against Women Act fine. Fraud Against Men Act too. Yeah, definitely.
I didn't even know they had a fraud against men. Oh snap! I gotta go deeper into these laws.
We need some legislation.
Oh, okay, it's not there. Okay, okay, so basically somebody in the chat was talking about making that a policy, a law. Okay.
We need to level that playing field.
Equal rights for all.
Real talk. We need to level that playing field like yesterday.
Listen, ladies, I keep saying it. Y'all keep saying y'all want equal rights, right? Y'all want the same rights that these men have, right? But when the shoe is turned around, when the shoe is, when the, you is pulled on you, y'all not gonna like it. Equal rights, y'all want everything that the men have, right? But y'all don't seem to understand, right? We fought so hard to get to where we got to, right? It's to the point, right, where a woman screams grape and a man, right, gets the cuff put on and, questions asked later. A man screams it, the woman's still walking. Questions asked later. See the big difference in that? So it's kind of like people don't seem to understand. A lot of us women, right, we've gotten to the point where we can get away with so much. Y'all don't seem to understand. We got a lot of power in our hands, but we don't seem to know how to use it. We misuse it. So, but y'all say y'all want all the opportunities the men got, all the rights that the men got, right? So how about when the father comes, fights for the child, right, and he does get custody, full custody? Why would you like to be called the secondary parent, right? Now you're the one paying child support. You see where I'm coming from? Now, what happens if the scripts are flipped? You see, would you be able to take what you give a man? And I'm not talking about a deadbeat. I'm talking about the good ones. And yes, I know I'm a woman. And a lot of y'all women are going to be like, damn, you a woman saying this? Yes. Once again, I'm a fucking woman saying this. And I don't get tired of saying it. You have to think like that, right? So listen, I'm not just fighting for rights for my daughter. I'm fighting for rights for my son. We want all the rights that the men got, but then, we deal with the pressure that they deal with. But what they got to deal with when they walk out here in society, it's a little different from us. We know what we got to deal with. But the majority of these men don't even talk, don't even let us in their heads for us to understand their mental. So can we even walk a mile in their shoes? So let's not try to be them. That's why I keep saying, I understand everything about the equal rights and shit. I'm not trying to be a man. I'm not trying to do what a man does. It's a big difference. It's kind of like, I get it. I want to be independent. I know that. But independent doesn't mean that I got to sit here and flip a scroll with a man.
Yo, if you're just coming in here, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the Cash App and support the show. We need to get the support up, people. Support the shoe. You feel me?
Support.
That's why I don't look. I'm telling you right now. I don't care who it is. I'm not like, bro. I done seen too much.
Blessings,
In hindsight is always 2020.
Blessings, Riaz, guys. Make sure y'all go check out Young Riaz. He has the little drop show. I love his little short show. Make sure you go check him out. He don't do lives like that, but he does, have do reviews and reactions, right? He uploads, and he speaks on the UK rap. So make sure you go check out the shorts he's got. He's got updates on old and new music from the UK, and I think it's great content, man. Make sure y'all sub up, Share his videos, like his videos. Let's support my young boy, y'all.
I done seen too much, and I'm telling you right now, when it comes to these women that are classified as baby mamas, I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you something right now. Like real talk. I'm telling you, they on a whole other level of ain't shit. They on a whole other level. Like I've never seen. Here's the thing, right? I'm gonna make this statement, and a lot of people gonna disagree with this statement, but I'm gonna make this statement.
All right, I'm listening.
I've never seen a good baby mama. Or a cool baby mama. I've never seen that shit.
What is a cool baby mama?
I've never seen that shit. Now, it's niggas that's gonna say, no, man, there's some cool baby mamas out there. Nigga, let me tell you something. That's the illusion. Okay?
Propaganda.
That's the illusion.
That's what they want us to believe.
The only way you can know if that chick is a cool baby mama is you got to take the word of the nigga she got kids by. And even after you take his word, you still got to do a little more probing and ask him certain questions. Because you got some niggas out here who tolerate dumb shit because they think it's
And by the way, that was his video. His video was a little buffing this morning. So he did wait. Oh shit. It's not even this morning. It's already morning again. It's Friday morning. Well, he did this video. Damn, what the hell? I'm thinking I'm on the same day. See, time fly by fast. I see the word is going live, so I'm about to get off this, John. But I'm gonna let him finish what he's saying. I just wanted y'all to know that's not me. His video was buffering this morning. I thought it was me this morning too, but I see that it's not. So I'm gonna let him finish saying that. I know I'm tired as hell. I'm about to lay down and listen to the word. And if y'all haven't checked out the word, the link is down below in the chat. I'm about to leave y'all, Angry Man's link. All right. And y'all can go check out the rest of this video. I'm going to leave y'all the link to this video. So everybody that wants to see it can go finish watching the video.
You could have a cool baby mama. But his definition could be she a cool baby mama because she don't go to try to get an increase on the child support. Or she a cool baby mama.
Just because she don't go get the increase on the child support doesn't make her a cool baby mama. Just because she's not always, sitting here creating drama doesn't mean that she's not, that she's a cool baby mama. Sometimes, listen, they will be calm as a damn, how can I say it, as a damn cricket. Right? Calm and quiet as a cricket. But then shit out of nowhere, she'll do some shit in the cuffs and then shit. I've heard men say that. They'll sit here like, oh, my baby mama cool. A month later, he got the cuffs. He locked up. Wait, I thought his baby mama was cool. What happened? All I hear is people say, I don't know. I mean, apparently to him, according to him, right? She was cool, but something happened and it went left.
Some ass from time to time. You feel?
Yeah, it's buffering. So, I mean, for those of y'all that want to check, the live out, the link is down below the video. So, that's all the time that a shorty has. Why does it look like my camera is like big? Something wrong with it? There was something on my camera. What the fuck is that? Crazy kid. All right, that's all the time that a shorty has for y'all today, man. I hope that y'all enjoy the stream, man. Those of y'all that enjoy the stream, please, do a shorty a favor, smash that like button for her, right? Share the video, help a shorty bring awareness. Hopefully I get to hear what y'all think, what y'all perspectives are, your opinions in the comments down below. Let's get these topics, these conversations started. Let me know what y'all thinking. how y'all feel about these topics that were brought up today, right? The Dr. Umar Johnson situation, right? The mother from Detroit whose 2 kids, right, apparently, right, allegedly had froze to death in front of the casino. Then it turns out that they died, from carbon dioxide poisoning. And the update on the Pontiac mother, right, who abandoned her kids for years, which the new judge was lenient on her sentence from her bond. My bad. Her bond went from $250 million to $5,000. I mean, what are y'all opinions on that? I've asked questions all throughout this live, right? And like I said, leave y'all comments down below, and let's get these conversations started and going. So until next time, this y'all shorty Rachel. I hope all of y'all continue to have a blessed and humble day. And we out.
If I knew then what I know now, sometimes